Okay, and I think you were embarrassed, and I think it pissed you off because she said something. Maybe she didn't mean to offend you, but whatever she said offended you. You're a man, okay? You're Hispanic, you're Cuban, you have pride, okay? Don't sit here and question my manhood, is what you're saying. Am I right?
That's what you think.
I'm asking, am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, okay, so what happened then? So what happened with the argument?
Man. That's not what happened.
No?
To be honest, man, I really don't know what happened. Listen, I was so...
Fidel, come on. Go. Listen, you remember here, and you remember here.
Yeah,
but you conveniently don't remember the most important part. You conveniently don't remember what happened in the closet, what happened in the bathroom, okay? Or what happened in between the two. She had her guts ripped out in the closet.
Meet Fidel Lopez, a 24-year-old Cuban mechanic. On September 20th, 2015, at 3:30 a.m., Fidel dialed 911 from his apartment in Sunrise, Florida, reporting that his girlfriend, Maria Nemeth, was unwell and unresponsive.
911, what is your emergency?
Hello? Fucking hello, man. My girlfriend's in the bathroom. She's gonna breathe for me. I mean, like, oh my God, she's gonna die, man. Come on. Please.
I can barely understand what's going on.
No, my God, she was slinky, and then, like, I don't know when she went to the bathroom, and when I went there, it was full blood and everything, like, I don't know, man, she's not breathing. I mean, like, she's just gonna die, man. Come on, son of a bitch over here right now, man.
What is the address?
I don't know. I just moved right here, man. I just moved right here. I don't know the address.
Let's tell me the address on it so we can get her some mail.
So let's start with, who do you live with over at Colonnades? Is it the Colonnades or it's
Colonnades.
Colonnades?
Yeah.
Who do you live with there?
I live with her, with Maria Nemeth.
Okay, Maria. What's Maria's last name?
Maria Nemeth.
Can you spell that?
Nemeth is Nemeth.
Okay.
Nemeth.
All right. How long have you guys been together?
We've been together for about a year and 2 months, almost, you know.
It is quite fascinating that in this entire interrogation, the detectives decided to follow 8 out of 9 steps from Reed's technique of interrogation. Their approach was aimed at not just persuasion, but practically dragging the truth out of Fidel and convincing him to finally own up to his actions.
So let's start. Today, you worked. Today's Sunday.
Today's Sunday.
Yesterday was Saturday. Did you work Saturday?
Yeah, I worked Saturday.
Okay, what time did you get off?
I get off around 4:20.
Around 4:20?
Exactly. I have my papers and my receipts.
And what about her? What time is she?
She went to work also. She went to work yesterday. She don't work weekends, but she went to the office for a couple hours, 2 hours.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right, so you get off work and you come home to the apartment, or you go somewhere else?
No, I went straight to the apartment, take a shower, and then she was cooking dinner. Dinner was ready made. And
what did you guys eat?
At the house.
Yeah, what did you eat? What did you guys eat?
She made chicken,
Mm-hmm.
and beans and rice.
Okay.
So we just eat, and we went to Miami to see my mother.
Around what time was that?
That was around 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
6:30 to 7:40, something like that.
Okay.
Then when we get out from Hialeah, we just went straight to Chili's, right next to the apartment.
Okay, so you went to Chili's before going back home?
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Exactly.
And you got the Chili's around what time?
We get to Chili's around like 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, 8:15, something like that. I'm not pretty sure, but it was just something like that.
Okay. And then how long did you stay there for?
We stayed there for like an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes.
Okay.
We only drink, she drank one margarita, I drink 2 margaritas. Actually, we drink 1.5 each of us. So,
okay.
Because the other one we split.
Shared.
Yeah, we shared.
Was anybody else with you?
No, just me and her
Okay.
and the bartender. We went straight to the bar. We weren't at the table, nothing like that.
What and who? You have a car?
A car?
You drive?
I drive, but I'm using her car.
Using her car.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of car does she have?
She have a Scion TC 2009.
A what?
Scion TC. Scion, Toyota
Scion.
Scion.
Oh,
Scion. Okay.
Scion.
All right. So you use her car when you have to go to work or when you have
Yes,
to go
and you know, she would just walk to the office and she don't need to use the car, and then I'm using the car to go to my job. And,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. Okay, so you guys go get the Chili's, have margarita, then where do you guys go?
And we went to the liquor store, to ABC, right in front of the Sargas Mall, at the side, and
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
and then we buy a bottle of 1800, something like that.
Okay.
I never drink that before, so
That's tequila?
yeah, it's tequila. So
All right.
we buy that. We went to the house.
Around what time did you get back to the house? I mean,
So it wasn't like not far away from. It wasn't not even 10 o'clock, I believe so.
so before 10.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Before 10.
Before 10. Anybody at the house when you get back?
No, sir.
All right.
Not at all.
No one lives with you, just you two live there together.
Yeah, just
you
me
didn't have
and her.
anybody over, no one visiting?
No, nobody.
Okay.
The first step of Reed's technique of interrogation, positive confrontation, is evident in this part of the interrogation. Fidel was initially given an opportunity to share his perspective and explain his side of the story. The interrogators employed open-ended questions, which prompted Fidel to respond with concise and pertinent answers, even providing an alibi. Additionally, you'll notice that Fidel frequently places his hands on his head during specific parts of the conversation when the interrogators inquire about particular details. This physical cue occurs repeatedly in the video. This indicates moments of stress, uncertainty, or inner conflict.
All right, so tell me about the night from when you get back to the house. Tell me what happened.
Okay. We get to the house. She was already like kind of tipsy from the margaritas and Chili's. You know, we start to drink. We put like two cardboard, boxes on the floor. We put the lime on top, and because we don't have furniture, so we're about to buy. Now when I get paid, we're about to buy furniture, the TV, and things like that.
Okay.
And so we put the two boxes on the floor in the dinner room, and then we start drinking and talking and listen music, and we have a lot of shock of tequila. Then in my position, I can handle it. I can handle drinks. But sometimes you go a little crazy. And she was a lot crazy, and so she was asking me for stuff that she never asked me for that before. So,
like what?
The thing with the arm and shit like that, and I never done that shit with nobody, especially with her. So
explain what kind of stuff was she asking? What do you mean with the arm?
I mean, first she started talking like. Something like I was uncomfortable with it, one day I want you to put a bottle on my food, Sorry, I'm just talking right now with you guys.
Yeah. I want you to be open.
I respect her, and
absolutely, and
You're not disrespecting her. You're just telling us what she told you, what she wanted you to do. It's not disrespectful.
I'm a man. I'm her man. So whatever she asks me, I'll do it.
Okay.
Whatever it is. I don't care what it is. Even if she want me to put my hand in her put it.
Okay.
I'll put it.
Here we see a subtle approach to positive confrontation. When Fidel visibly hesitated and felt uncomfortable discussing a private conversation with his girlfriend during a drunken moment, the interrogators didn't press aggressively. Instead, they recognized his discomfort and took a more empathetic stance. This involved addressing the awkwardness and providing emotional support, which encouraged Fidel to further explain what had happened.
So she was telling me that, and then I don't remember really if I did it with the bottle too, or if I not, because I was really.
What kind of bottle are you talking about?
It's a beer bottle.
A beer bottle. Okay. All right. So what ended up happening? I know she was asking you to do these things.
Yeah, she was asking me all those stuff, and started feeling like uncomfortable, like, because she never asked for that, and I know she was tipsy. But when we were doing stuff and all the things, she told me she wanted to throw up to get out of the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So I get out of the bathroom, and I was outside. I believe I was smoking a cigarette. I don't remember if the door was already break or something. I really don't know. I know I break it because she is not strong enough to break it.
What door are we talking about?
The glass door. I just remember I see glass in the floor, man. I really don't remember when I break it or why I break it. To be honest with you, I really don't remember.
Okay.
The only thing I remember clearly is that I went to the bathroom and she was like not breathing. She was like this. And I just want to call 911.
And where was she?
She was like between the toilet and the shower thing. I just like, and I thought she was throwing in the shower. I mean, but she wasn't. I mean,
You thought she was throwing up?
I thought she was throwing up, but I don't hear any noise. So I knocked the door, she announced it, and I'm getting straight to that she wasn't breathing. She was constant. She was talking to me.
Yeah.
But one moment I get so nervous and scared, and then I get the phone and call 911 because she was getting worse and worse.
The first step of positive confrontation appeared effective in engaging Fidel in the interrogation, as by this time he became more expressive and participative. However, some aspects of his behavior raised questions, particularly given the recent loss of his girlfriend. Notably, his lack of emotion while describing the events leading to Maria's death stood out, as did his selective memory when discussing crucial details like the precise moment the glass door was broken. The detectives then inquired about Maria's position in the bathroom. This particular question foreshadowed its significance in the later stages of the interrogation, hinting at the detective's strategic approach in unraveling the truth.
Now, when you called 911, was she still breathing?
No, man, she wasn't.
She wasn't breathing.
She wasn't. I was trying to give her CPR, man. I remember I was kissing her and put some air in her stomach. Was like up and down, man. And she wasn't breathing. I don't know when somebody is dead or not because I've never seen the body before.
Okay. You said when you first went into the bathroom and you saw her, she was breathing.
She was breathing. She was conscious. All right. She was like, and that's what I call 911.
And where was she in the bathroom again?
She was like in the toilet, between the toilet and the shower.
Okay. Is it a shower or a bathtub?
Yeah, a bath.
So it's not just
like a jacuzzi.
Okay, so it's not just a stand-up shower.
No,
if you want to take a bath, you can take a bath in it.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know how to say that.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Was
she in the tub?
No. I was trying to put her there, but I couldn't lift her up. Man, I was strong, and I don't want her to hit her head or hit something or something. You know?
Right, sure.
And but the last thing I do is just put some cold water on her face. I open the shower.
Okay.
I put some cold water on her face to see if she reacts. And I'll start, hey, baby, you okay? Baby, you okay? I start screaming like a motherfucker and nobody here. I don't know. Neighbors might be hear me scream.
Okay.
I was screaming for help.
Right. Is that what you were screaming as help?
Yeah.
In this phase of the interrogation, the interrogators implemented the second step of Reed's technique, theme development. They steered the conversation by assuring Fidel that they trusted his narrative and provided him with supportive phrases like, sure, you're not disrespecting her, and of course.
It's not disrespectful.
This subtle approach not only boosted the suspect's confidence, but also granted him the space to further explain himself. Importantly, it offers valuable insight into potential tactics for taking out more information and uncovering the truth as the interrogation progresses.
Okay, so let's go in a little more detail about from when you guys start drinking and become sexually active to when she ends up in the bathroom.
Okay.
We need to talk about that time. Okay. What kind of sexual acts did you perform tonight? What did you guys do?
What I can tell you, I didn't came.
Okay.
That's one thing I can tell you for sure. For sure, I didn't came.
Okay. Did you put your inside of her?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you wear?
And no, I did. We didn't even open the new box. We buy a box of today. Yesterday, last night, we buy a new box of the bottle. We buy the bottle, and then we went to the gas station.
Okay.
We buy the.
Okay.
Now I got that.
Okay.
We buy the. And then we went, but I don't use any at all. I don't even touch the new pack. So
Okay.
maybe it's still there. You can see it if you guys go take a picture, you will see it. And then, she was, I was strong. She was strong. She was telling me for me to do stuff that I never done before with nobody, especially with her.
Okay.
And,
I know it might be a little embarrassing, or you might want to.
Don't worry, man.
But listen,
That's what you need to do.
I want you to tell me what kind of things.
Because
you're saying she's asking you to do things. I want you to explain.
She want me to put my arm on her, and stuff like that. And like a open-minded European says, I don't know.
Okay, and what type of things did you do? I know she's asking you. What did you actually do?
Everything she told me to do, I do it.
Okay. Which is what? What did she ask you to do?
I put my arm on her. I put my. I believe I got the bottle. It was a small bottle. It was like a beer bottle or something like that. That she want me to put there too. I just tried to make her happy, whatever.
I understand.
But she was constant. She was like she wasn't like knocked out or something like that. I would never do that to my girl. Knocked out. Okay. That's not me, man. That's not me. But once when we do the thing with the arm, that was the last thing. She was telling me, I need to throw up. I don't feel good. Or something like that.
Where did this take place?
Huh?
Where was this when that happened?
In the bathroom.
You were in the bathroom.
Yeah, we start from the like, I think we start in the closet. I don't remember pretty well, but we were in the closet too, man.
Okay, so let's go step by step. You guys start. You said you had some boxes and you set up like a little area.
Listen,
you're playing some music.
I know we have. I know I put my arm in there. I know I put a bottle. But to be honest with you, details like that, I cannot tell you, man. I was drunk just like her.
Okay.
I was drunk just like her. I would love to tell you every details. And I'm doing my best right now.
I understand. We just want to make sure that we have everything that occurred and happened, so that when we look at her, we can understand what we got. Okay, that's all.
As the interrogation progressed, it became increasingly apparent to the interrogators that Fidel was withholding crucial truths and details regarding the incident that resulted in Maria's death. At this juncture, they began to apply the third step of the interrogation process, handling denials, which involved repeated questioning and addressing any denials which came from Fidel's end in the later section of the interrogation. Detectives were quick to interrupt Fidel whenever they encountered denial or evasion in his responses. They consistently emphasized the importance of obtaining every small detail. This strategic approach not only served to unnerve Fidel, but also created a sense of isolation, making him feel increasingly vulnerable. This psychological tactic was employed to weaken his defensive posture, thereby facilitating a more effective breakdown of his resistance.
I know I used the bottle.
Well, I know you keep saying you don't remember, but you do remember.
Yeah, kind of stuff, little by little, but for real.
It's important that you remember as much as you can, and you tell us, and you're honest and truthful about what happened.
I'm always true. I'm telling you everything. I accept everything I did. I accept it.
And I understand that you're a man and you're accepting it, but we need to know details. We need to know exactly what happened to her, why it happened, what you were upset about. Those things are that you're remembering everything, but there's certain things that you're not remembering, and I think it's because it's hurting you inside.
No, man, not really.
It's like you're.
If I already tell you about the arm, I can tell you everything else.
I understand. I understand you put your arm, but there's a reason why you were upset.
I don't know, man. Listen, I was wrong. I know when I.
Well, you kind of touched on it. You said that she wanted you to do certain things, and that was like, hey, wait, am I not?
It makes me feel down, but
am I not
upset?
Oh, okay,
not upset. Not to break the door and things like that. After there's something else, something that I don't remember. I cannot tell you, man. If I tell you right now, I'll be lying to you because I really don't know what to say about it. I don't want to be telling you, she told me this, but it's not true. I don't remember. I really don't remember. I'll take the fault for everything is broke. I know I did it. I know I did. But I don't know why.
So you're saying everything in that house you did, everything that occurred in that house was caused by you?
Yeah, every breaking things and everything.
The injuries that she has inside of her?
Injuries that she has. Maybe I did it, you know. I put the stuff on her. She didn't by herself, but she was asking me to do it. You know.
Before
I mean, I did nothing like I didn't force her to do anything.
I understand. I'm just trying. Want to make sure that we have
anything. I never forced her to do anything that she don't want.
Before last night, you said last night was the first time she asked you to do these things with the bottle.
Yeah,
and your,
first
and,
time,
and, and your fist.
First time.
Before last night, what is the kinkiest or craziest thing you two have ever done? Before last night,
69.
69.
That's it. Nothing else than that. Not even movies.
So you went from pretty vanilla, pretty tame,
like not doing too much,
nothing crazy,
sex.
just normal.
Normal sex.
Right, normal. You said not even movies to watch.
Movies.
Okay,
man,
so
normal sex.
To way over here, where now she wants a beer bottle and your fist inside of her.
And all that shit. I don't know why she was telling me that because she was drunk or I don't know why. I think it might be because of something, but I don't know what.
Well, we need to figure that out.
Well, we need to figure it out.
I mean, so what would make you mad?
Idea.
What kind of things would enrage you?
You guys have any problems in your relationship?
No, man, not at all. We're good.
What about another guy?
No, man.
What if you found out that she was with another man?
Huh? No, man. No.
What if you found out she was with another guy?
If I found out, then I'll leave her.
That wouldn't make you upset?
I'll make me upset, but I'll
Would it
leave
make
her.
you punch holes in the wall?
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
Maybe punch the guy too. But not her.
I understand that. Oh, I'm not. I know. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to figure out what made you enraged and what got you
upset. It out
upset.
too, man. I don't even remember when I punched the walls, man. I don't even remember that.
Like we both are guys. We both know. Like if I got to a point where I was so pissed off, I would kind of have an idea of what I would be upset about, especially if it was involving my wife
But
or
listen,
my girl.
man, when you're drunk, you don't know. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You're intoxicated, you don't know. You don't know. I was intoxicated just like her.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't know what I get mad about. When you're intoxicated, you can get mad about anything.
Yeah.
You know, you don't control your mind.
Was she upset at you for punching the walls? Was she upset at you for breaking things in the house?
Maybe. She might. I know we make love. We make love and everything because I said sorry and, you know, I know I said sorry because if it's no, we would never make love. But I know I did.
So you're pretty sure that all the damage was caused before you had sex?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So
I'm pretty sure.
There was an argument, there was damage, there was a makeup, and then there was sex.
And that was it. And then she told me, get out of the bar and you throw up. And it's when all this happens, man. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't breathe. I hear her, but I don't hear any noise. When I opened the door, she was like this, like you don't get air into your.
So, let me ask you this: when she says to you, I got to throw up, get out of the bathroom." You left the bathroom?
I thought, baby, you okay? He says, yeah, okay. I left the bathroom.
Did she shut the door?
No. I leave it like this, like not closed, but
almost closed.
Just in case, you know.
Okay.
I'm not gonna close the door.
So she's in there. What were you doing? Where were you at? What did you do?
Went outside and smoked a cigarette.
You went outside?
Yeah, to the back room.
Okay.
Interrogators introduced the first identified contradiction in Fidel's account, making the onset of the fourth stage of overcoming objections in the interrogation process. They directly challenged the inconsistency in Fidel's narrative, intensifying their questioning. Fidel's repeated denials and omissions, particularly regarding the motive behind the crime, face heightened scrutiny. The detectives employed a logical cross-questioning approach and repeatedly pressed Fidel for the chronological details of events, compelling him to share more. A pivotal moment emerges in this scene as they uncover a potential instance of violence inflicted by Fidel on Maria during the night in question.
Oh man, we both were drunk. I don't know. I really don't know. I was so drunk and she was so drunk. I really don't know, man. I wish I can explain better. I'm telling you everything I remember, man. I'm telling you everything I remember, like, almost exactly how it is.
Almost is the key.
Exactly, because I don't remember everything.
But I think you do. I think there's a point that you're trying to block out because it's killing you right now. It's burning you up because of what happened. And you're thinking back right now thinking, wow, I can't believe I did something like that. But it wasn't you. You weren't in the right state of mind. You wouldn't intentionally hurt her, right?
Listen, there's nothing inside of me that I'm not telling you. Everything that I know is everything that you know. Okay? I'm not hiding nothing. I'm not, I prefer to pay 20 years on jail just for for her family to be okay and they don't think I'm a monster. But
I don't think you're a monster.
No one thinks you're a monster.
I don't.
But you have to be honest and help us put the pieces together from point A to B. You're giving us here, and then there's a gap, and then you're giving us after. That time in between, from that closet to that bathroom, something happened from the closet to the bathroom that you're leaving out. Okay? You guys drank. You had an argument.
Yeah,
Did the argument happen after, possibly? You're saying it happened before. Did it happen after? Did it happen during?
When I break the stuff, it was right.
Why are you
right
breaking
before
stuff?
we mix?
Okay. So you're breaking stuff. You're having an argument. What is the argument about?
I don't know. That's what I don't know. I wish I can remember and telling you. I can.
But see, I can tell you. Do you understand how that
would?
I know, but don't you understand how that would make more sense? That if you did something during that may have injured her, there's a reason. There'd have to be a reason. You're not just going to do it for no reason.
No,
you're not going to hurt her for no reason.
You're going to hurt her just because she's drunk?
No.
Just because you're drunk?
No.
You said you've had sex with her when you're drunk before.
Yeah.
Both of you have been drunk before.
But not like yesterday. Yesterday we were like really, really, really drunk.
I understand that, okay? But you also said to us earlier that the kinkiest or the craziest thing you've done it was a 69.
69.
Okay, so that's why we're saying something else happened here. This isn't rough. I've said that before.
I understand that.
Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. That's
you do? Okay, so then explain to us what it was.
What was it? Was to me a roast when I was drunk. And for her, the same thing. Because she don't scream with pain. She wasn't telling me to stop. How can I explain? I mean, I don't leave nothing behind. I can tell you whatever. I can tell you, we're arguing about her edge, and that's it. But I'm not gonna tell you that because I really don't know, man.
You said that she never said stop. Was she unconscious? Did she pass out?
She was talking.
She was talking.
Initially, yeah.
But you could be, when you get drunk and you have no idea what's going on, and you
when she was unconscious is when I went to the bathroom. She couldn't breathe.
In the closet, did she pass out in the closet?
No, she was like normal, like normal.
She wasn't normal in the closet. She had her stomach ripped out of her in the closet.
I know you guys.
So that's not normal.
Now, but
there's the amount of blood that's in the closet and what happened in the closet. There's no way that she was either saying no and stop because it hurt like hell, or she was unconscious. That's the only explanation we can have here.
She wasn't conscious. She wasn't, and she wasn't telling me to stop.
But that's the thing. It's one of those two things. Because she's going to let you rip her stomach out and not say anything? That doesn't make any sense. That makes absolutely no sense, Fidel. Does it to you?
It doesn't make sense.
So I'm not. So we're on the same page here.
I understand. We're on the same page.
Okay. Because
as the interrogator's cross-questioning approach began to yield results, Fidel's defensive posture gradually weakened, causing him to admit the possibility of his actions being monstrous towards Maria's family. Swiftly transitioning to the fifth step, getting the suspect's attention, the interrogators aimed to reassure him while highlighting the discrepancies in his account directly. They also attempted to offer a broader perspective on his withholding of the information. Unfortunately, Fidel remained too conscious with his narrative, struggling to fully grasp this shift in the approach.
You know what the problem is. That's what you're holding back. And that's what you need to come clean with. That's what you need
If
to be
you
honest
put a
with.
light tattoo machine right
listen.
now on me, man.
From whatever you're saying, from whatever the problem you have, that's where it went bad. That problem, is what you had. You know what happened. You know what was upsetting you.
I have nothing against her. Whatever
I
I
think
did
you do.
with her.
I think you do.
Maybe things get out of hands.
Okay.
And
But when things get out of hands,
because I hurt inside or something.
Things get out of hand because something bothered you. There's something you keep saying that we got to the point, I got upset or something bothered you, and then things got out of hand. What was it? What was it, man?
That's what I'm trying to figure it out, man.
You don't have to figure it out. You know what it was. What was it? What caused you to go?
If I really know that, I'll tell you
no,
right now.
But I think you do. You do.
I'm not.
You're listen, you know yourself. You know who you
myself.
are. Okay?
I know
You know
who I
what
am.
upsets you.
No.
Okay?
When I was drunk.
But you know when you're
mind.
drunk, you still know what upsets you and what causes you to go get upset. All right? You've had arguments with her in the past, right? You've had arguments with her in the past. You know what things have sparked and caused you to get upset. This is no different, man. And you need to just tell us why. That's all you need to do. It'll be a big weight lifted off your shoulders, I'm telling you. It really will.
I think part of the reason is you don't want to tell us? Because we're three men sitting here. I think part of you is embarrassed. Because I think I have an idea what may have happened. And I think you do too. I know you do. And you just don't want to tell us. Okay?
What do you think?
What do I think? I think you wanted to have a nice night with your girl. And you guys went out drinking. And you came home. And you stopped and bought some more liquor. Some tequila. You came home and you're drinking. And things started moving. And you drank so much, you couldn't get your hard. You couldn't get an erection. You're asking me what I think. I'm telling you what I think. Okay? And then because you couldn't get your hard, okay, an argument, a fight ensued. Because now you don't feel like a man. Now you don't feel like you're worthy. Now you don't feel like you can, no pun intended, rise to the occasion and do what you got to do is please your girl. Okay? And so an argument ensued. Okay? And you got angry.
I never do nothing against her, man.
Okay, you said earlier, you told us that you didn't. You didn't. That's I think because you couldn't get your hard. That's okay.
Get hurt.
Okay, and I think you were embarrassed, and I think it pissed you off because she said something. Maybe she didn't mean to offend you, but whatever she said offended you. You're a man. Okay, you're Hispanic. You're Cuban. You have pride. Okay, don't sit here and question my manhood. Is what you're saying? Am I right?
That's what you think.
I'm asking. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened then? So what happened with the argument?
Man. That's not what happened.
No.
To be honest, man, I really don't know what happened. Listen, I was so
Fidel, come on. Don't listen. You remember here, and you remember here.
Yeah,
but you conveniently don't remember the most important part. You conveniently don't remember what happened in the closet, what happened in the bathroom. Okay? Or what happened in between the two? She had her guts ripped out in the closet. And you're going to sit here and tell us, come on, you don't remember what the argument was about? Fidel, we both said it. I don't think you're a monster. I don't think you intended to do what you did. Okay? But ultimately you did it.
I did it.
I know that. And I know you know that. To be a man about it, explain why. What set you off? What got you so angry? You were enraged. Why? Just explain why and you won't know. You're a human. Okay? You're a human being. You're flesh and blood, just like he and I. And you snapped and things went bad. Okay? Just explain that. That's all we're asking you to do is explain why. What happened? What started it?
We were like We were like drinking. We were drinking. We get drunk. I don't even know. Not even when I open the holes. When I break the window. I don't even remember when I did that. I don't know what was the argument. I know something happened, but I really don't know, man. I mean, like,
Fidel, you ripped her insides out of her through her.
I didn't mean to do that, man.
I understand that, but you did it. What pissed you off to the point where you did that?
In the first part of this clip, the interrogators aimed to gauge the depth of Fidel's involvement in the crime. The interrogator closer to him confronted Fidel about the discrepancies in his story, urging honesty. Meanwhile, the other detective observed Fidel's body language to assess his receptiveness. This phase is pivotal, setting the tone for the entire interrogation. When Fidel quietly listened to the first interrogator, the second detective swiftly moved to the seventh step, proposing alternatives. In the later section of this clip, the second interrogator took the lead and started giving alternatives based on their interrogation so far, and also the evidence they had gathered from the crime scene. This stage served a crucial purpose, to prompt Fidel to contemplate a different, often more extreme version of the incident. By offering these alternatives, the interrogators aimed to create a stark contrast with Fidel's current narrative, compelling him to correct them with the truth.
Where the kinkiest or craziest thing you've done is a 69.
No, that's what
Right. And then all of a sudden, she wants you to shove a beer bottle inside of her,
that's what you was telling me, man.
and she wants you to shove your fist in there, your hand in there.
That's what you was telling
Fidel,
me.
come on. I don't believe that. Okay, I just don't believe that. Because you know what? I'm older than you. He's older than you.
Mm-hmm.
We're both men. Okay? As are you. These things are gradual. Okay? You take steps. Oh, we do a little bit of this. You maybe try this. Try some of this. I don't like that, so we won't do that anymore. Let's try this. Let's try this. There's no way. Before last night, had you ever put anything else inside of her besides your... No. Your and what else? Maybe a couple fingers?
Not even finger.
So you expect us to believe that from just your to a beer bottle and then your fist? No way. Fidel, listen. Now you're making yourself out to sound, because it just doesn't make sense. And anyone that hears that is going to go, no way. You don't go from a to a beer bottle to your whole fist and up to your elbow. That just doesn't happen.
Without some type of reason.
Exactly. And that happened because you got so angry. Okay? And that's what we want you to explain to us. Paint the picture for us of what happened so you look like a human being that just snapped. Okay? Instead of some sadistic monster who said, you know what? This bitch, I'm just going to rip her guts out. I don't think you're that person. Either does he. But you have to explain to us so we can explain to other people. Listen, he didn't mean to do this. He really didn't. They got into an argument. They got into a fight. And you know, with the alcohol, one thing happened, you know. But you have to explain that to us.
Okay, the crime scene, they shake the... If she had something with the tequila, caused something to her too.
The tequila? Well,
Yeah.
it caused her to be intoxicated. Absolutely.
Intoxicated and something to... Because she wasn't breathing.
She wasn't breathing. I understand that. She wasn't breathing because she was bleeding. She bled out.
Because of what was ripped out from her insides.
That's why she wasn't breathing.
I don't know, man. Go out of my hands. Out of my hands.
Fidel, listen.
In the last clip, the second interrogator takes a decisive approach by pointing out all the contradictions in Fidel's statements, going back to the beginning of the interrogation. The interrogator emphasized the need for an explanation that portrayed Fidel as a human who snapped under pressure rather than a sadistic monster. Despite this, Fidel tried to play innocent as a last effort to maintain his narrative. However, a significant turning point occurs when the second interrogator moves closer to him. This marks the beginning of the 8th step of the interrogation process. The physical proximity appears to break through Fidel's remaining defenses, finally setting him on the path toward confession.
And it takes a man, a true man, to admit, okay, I f***ed up, man. I made a mistake. I had no intentions of killing her. I had no intentions of doing it, but this is what happened. It takes a man to do that. It takes more of a man to admit when he's wrong, and it takes a man to cry. Be that man. Be that person, because that's who you are.
She was telling me she going to Peru. She needed to go to Peru because she was missing her mother, and and I'm not gonna be able to use the car to go to work, and then she just started screaming at me and all that. I get pissed. I start punching the shit. I really don't remember when I punched the shit. You just tell me. I know I get pissed because of that. Then after that, I don't know how we ended up in the closet or whatever. I know we made peace. But when we were doing making love, she told me something that I really don't. She changed my name. She called me the other name of the other guy, and then she said it twice. And she was wrong. She was confusing me with him. I didn't want to kill her. I know I killed her. That's whatever I did with her was the reason. But she was asking me about the bottle. And she was asking me about the hand too. And maybe things go a little bit far because, once she's confusing me with the other one and she told me to do stuff with her that I've never done before, I think that she might think that's the other stuff that she does with the other one before. Things go out of hands. I know, never meant to kill her.
I don't think you did.
Never meant to kill her, man.
Walk us through what happened.
This intriguing clip shows Fidel accepting his crime. His tone of voice changed as his defense crumbled. However, the interrogators tried to ease him into the process of confession so that they can extract more information that Fidel might have withheld. In the next clip, Fidel is shown images of the crime scenes and the horror of it. Watch his reaction and how interrogators handle the situation.
Get some sleep?
A little bit.
All right, good.
Did you eat? Didn't eat? No?
Still not hungry? All right, so we have some things we need to clear up, okay? We just had crime scene go over to the finishing up the scene, and I got some things I want to show you that maybe you can help clarify, okay? Some pictures from the scene. Where is this area?
There's in the room.
Okay, what room?
There's the room. This is the closet.
Mm-hmm. The bedroom, that's a dresser?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And where's the bed in relation to the closet? If this is a closet in here, where's the bed in this room? Where would the bed be?
The bed is right here.
Okay.
All right. These items on the ground. This is the flat iron.
Yeah.
Was that used?
Yeah.
Okay. What other items on the ground were put inside of her?
The bottom.
That blue bottle?
The blue one towards.
Okay.
Then,
I think there's some other photo.
I'm going to show you some more on this.
sure.
All right, so this is a better angle.
Actually, let's do this.
Yeah, it's this way. I'm sorry.
So
it's the closet. This is outside the closet.
See this computer?
Uh-huh.
That's this.
Yeah.
Okay, you understand that?
Yeah.
Whose computer is that?
I mean, we both use it.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. What about some of these items? There's a lot on the ground.
I don't know what's this. No, man, we just these bottle.
What about this? This is looks to be like a tripod for a camera.
Yeah, this for a camera.
Did you use that?
I don't think so, man. I don't remember to use that. I know at the bottom of these for sure.
Okay.
That way, yep.
That's inside the closet.
That's inside. Yeah, inside the closet.
Do you see the amount of blood that's there?
Yeah, man.
And you see this?
Yeah, this one.
You know what that is?
Yeah, the piece of thing they put inside.
Piece of what? From inside of her?
Yeah.
Same closet, different view.
All the blood, tissue, pieces of her,
Pieces of her insides.
blood on the wall. Those are handprints.
Blood on the
Handprints,
cabinet.
handprints. And then, see that right there? What's underneath that? What's that covering right there?
I don't know what this is.
Okay, not what is that? What's underneath it?
Because that was put there. You put that there.
I don't know what's on it. Holy
That's her insides.
Those are her intestines.
So I know you can sit here and you can say you don't remember and this and that. Let me tell you, you're not going to forget that. And the fact that you put something over that, you're not being completely honest with us. That came out of her, was in the closet. You saw it, you covered it, and then you flipped out.
You think that I would just cover it and don't you think of
No, listen.
throw it away or
Listen,
cover everything else?
look at this scene right here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's all removed and lifted, and that's what's underneath, and that's where she was.
The emotions reveal the horror and emotional impact of the crime. This could be interpreted as guilt, remorse, or distress over the consequences of his actions. On the other hand, Fidel's repeated emphasis on the phrase, "I didn't mean to," suggests his intention to downplay or mitigate the gravity of the crime. By claiming lack of intent, he might be trying to minimize his culpability or distance himself from the full responsibility of the act.
I'll help her. I'll go to the bathroom and she gonna move. That's for sure. She gonna move. Then I help her.
She couldn't move. You took her to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You carry her?
I don't remember if I...
You drag her?
I don't remember.
Was she conscious at this point?
Yeah, she was with the eyes open. I mean, she was like...
Just because her eyes are open doesn't mean anything. Do you see this in here?
Uh-huh,
That's all the blood that's in her body is in that closet.
I know.
You don't live through that.
I know, man.
What was she saying? Did she say anything?
When would that happen? She didn't say anything. I mean, she didn't scream, nothing. Nothing.
Why do you think that is?
Or
Why do you think she didn't scream or say anything?
Then man, she just passed out.
She was unconscious. Passed out from alcohol, or passed out
Or
from
unconscious,
loss of blood.
losing so much blood.
For alcohol.
Do you see the amount of blood that's in here?
Mm-hmm. I know.
She passed out because she lost so much blood.
I know.
Okay, and she didn't scream, according to what you're saying, because she wasn't conscious.
How did you end up in the closet? How did you guys end up there?
This clip captures Fidel's recurrent pattern of contradicting himself throughout the interrogation. This behavior is likely a result of the emotional turmoil and guilt he experiences due to his actions. The contradictions in his statements could be indicative of his internal struggle to confront the truth and the consequences of his deeds. By acknowledging that he did harm Maria, Fidel admits culpability to some extent. However, his subsequent claim of not remembering certain details creates a discrepancy in his narrative. This selective memory, or attempt to distance himself from specific aspects of the incident, might be a defense mechanism to shield himself from the full weight of responsibility.
Mine wasn't blank because she called you. Know for a fact that she called you by someone else's name, which you told us upset you very much so. You felt disrespected. You felt that.
Then at that point with the alcohol and that, I mean, my mind get blank.
And you told us that you put your arm inside of her.
No.
But at the same time, you told us earlier that she said she wanted you to put her arm inside of her.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true.
I know, man. That's not true.
Okay.
Just like she didn't want you to put the beer bottle inside of her, did she?
She was talking about it, but it's not like she was asking me for me to do it.
That never happened.
That never happened.
That never happened.
And what about the flat iron?
No fly. No.
This thing that you said you put inside of her.
Yeah, I put it inside of her.
Did she ask you to put that inside of her?
No, man. She was unconscious, but I started do this already.
At what point did she go unconscious? What point in this incident?
From the beginning, man.
From the beginning? And where did it start?
I remember we started in the bathroom with the closet there. We start here.
In the closet?
For sure.
She was unconscious in the closet? At one point did she say the other guy's name then?
She just said the other guy's name like over.
So she wasn't coherent, she was just mumbling?
Yeah, mumbling like, you know, not like she cannot talk, but she said the name.
And then at that point is when you started...
streaming.
What did you do first?
I don't know. I know I break all the things and throw everything.
You broke all her things?
No, not her things. I mean, I'm talking about Introna in the house.
Okay.
You talking about the sliding glass door?
Uh-huh.
Are you talking about the
whole the wall and all that? I should do it in that moment. Like I said, I don't remember when I did it. I don't remember with what I break the door or whatever. Yeah. I know I did it.
She's in the closet during that time? She's in the closet during that time?
I think so.
You go back in, what's the first thing that you put inside of her?
The first thing was my...
Okay.
While she was passed out?
She was like this. I mean, passed out is
she didn't know you were having sex with her.
Oh, yeah, she does. She wasn't...
You're saying she passed out.
The blood is not like this when we start. It's nothing, nothing like that. She was not passed out. She was... Yeah, and then this when the... Start to get like little... she started to get like a little like... unconscious, And I don't know, man. I'm turning myself into a fucking monster.
because she called her ex-husband's name?
Huh?
Because she called you by her ex-husband's name?
Yeah, man. My mind blocked out. I mean, my mind just blocked. Everything I was doing, I didn't think. It just stood straight up. And
When you
but I didn't mean to kill her, man. I really don't.
listen,
I really don't.
when I see that, you saying you didn't mean to kill her,
I didn't mean to kill her, man.
you pulled her insides out. You pulled her intestines
I
out.
wasn't knowing what I was doing, man.
What did you think was gonna happen to her? They should just get up and go make breakfast. I mean, at some point during this, you knew there was a point of no return, right?
That's why I took her to the bathroom and tried putting water on her face and call 911, man.
But she was gone by then.
No, she was breathing like this, but
Directly confronting him with the images and with all the available information, the interrogators were finally able to learn the reasons behind the violence inflicted on Maria by Fidel. With remarkable efficiency, they succeeded in obtaining Fidel's confession, including the motive for his anger and a detailed chronology of the events that led to the situation spiraling out of control. After successfully obtaining Fidel's confession and all the related details about the crime, the interrogators followed their standard procedure and proceeded to arrest him. He cooperated with the authorities throughout this time and waited for his trial. In July 2017, Fidel Lopez pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and assault in connection with the death of Maria Nemeth on September 2015. He changed his plea in an effort to avoid facing the death penalty. Additionally, his mother, sister, and a cousin also addressed the court during the proceedings. Broward County Judge Iona Holmes presided over the sentencing, where Maria's uncle read a letter on behalf of the family, leaving the decision of Fidel's fate to God. As part of the plea agreement, Fidel will not be eligible for parole and cannot appeal the life sentence. During the sentencing hearing, Fidel sought forgiveness from Maria's family and expressed gratitude to the judge for sparing him from the death penalty. As the dust settled and the legal proceedings drew to a close, one can't help but wonder, what drives individuals to commit such heinous acts, and how can society work towards preventing such tragedies in the future?
Hey, who did that? Hi, Taylor. How's it going? Officer Russell with the Green Bay Police Department. Just make sure you ain't got nothing on you here. With Taylor. Taylor, you have one more for your wrist. Just put your hands behind your back, please. Anybody else in your apartment? You got blood on your hands here too. No, on your hands. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to. What apartment are you in? What apartment are you in? Do you have it? Adam, please come up. You got someone here. Get up here.
The woman you just saw getting arrested was 25-year-old Taylor Schabusiness, a resident of Wisconsin. She found herself in handcuffs on February 23, 2022. And what landed her there was her connection to the gruesome discovery of the head of 24-year-old Shad Therian in a bucket in the basement of his mother's house. As gruesome as it may sound, the intricacies of this case are bound to leave you scratching your head, trying to fathom the human psyche and the curious twists it can take. For the starter, let's listen to this 911 call that led police to Taylor.
Very positive, my son's head is in a bucket. I know I'm bucket in my basement.
Okay, what makes you think that?
Because I looked in the bucket.
And what did you see?
Exactly what I told you.
Before we proceed, a little heads up. This video contains intense topics and unsettling psychological elements of the human mind. Viewer discretion is advised. Your well-being and mental health are the top priority. After the 911 call, the police made their way to Shad's residence on Stony Brook Lane in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Okay. Did you both see this? I opened the towel, I picked up the towel and dropped it because I don't know what the f is, man. I have bad vision. And she's like, is that what I think? I'm like, I don't know. What the fuck is it?
Do you want to stay with those two? I'll just go see it.
Yeah.
Where's it at?
So right there. Look right, there's a bucket where it's falling.
This way.
I know you're busy over there, but this is actually what it's going to be. It's not going to be a 961 thing or a 96 thing, so we're going to need more units here.
On February 21st, 2022, Shad and Taylor were last spotted together at Shad's mother's apartment in Green Bay. After hanging out at a friend's apartment with another mutual friend, Alexander Gannon, also known as AJ, Taylor and Shad decided to head back to Shad's apartment and spend the night together while Miss Tara Pakinich was away. Once she returned, Miss Pakinich was looking for Shad, and that's when she found the bucket in her basement. Based on her reports, Taylor was arrested.
I hate this office. Never in my life. I'd rather be fucked. Clean the up. What are you doing?
After being charged for something as disturbing as beheading and dismembering her 24-year-old ex-boyfriend, here is Taylor sitting in the interrogation room, complaining about the lack of cleanliness of the place and her uniform while looking right at the camera. There is not a hint of remorse or fear on her face. It's perplexing whether this was her sheer audacity and arrogance after committing a crime of that extent, or could it have been a case of some mental health concern that blinded her from differentiating right from wrong.
A few hours ago, police were dispatched to an address on Stony Brook at the parents' house, Shad area. Do you know Shad? And how do you know Shad?
He's my ex.
Your ex-boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they found a kind of disturbing stuff at the house there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of blood. Basically Shad's head. Yeah. And then, so we know you were there at one point.
Yeah.
With Shad.
Yeah.
But we also know you left. Now that van, is that your van?
No, that's my neighbor's.
Your neighbor's van.
Oh, the guy I was staying at?
Okay. So, where did you go? Which place where did the police get you? Was that on East Manhattan? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that where you live?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that your apartment?
No.
No. Whose apartment is it?
That man.
And who is that man?
Scott Thomas.
Scott?
Thomas.
Okay. So, that's his van?
Yes.
Okay. And so, did you leave from Shad's house and go to Scott's house sometime today?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they found part of Shad at his house, his mom's house. Found his head. Where's the rest of his body?
It's there, inside his house.
It is in the house?
Inside his house.
Okay. Can you tell me what happened?
It's a good question, because I blacked out during that.
Now, what is really striking here isn't just her admission of the murder, but the fact that she doesn't even hesitate. When the detective asks about the location where the rest of Shad's body can be found, she comes clean right away, saying it's still in the house. This straight away reflects on the distorted psyche of Taylor. However, there is more to unveil.
When do you think you went to Shad's house?
I was with like 2 days ago.
Okay. Did you stay there the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You start to remember now what happened with Shad? A little bit. What do you remember so far?
I don't know, there's this chain thing, right?
And then, yeah, like I was playing around with it.
Okay.
And like we were smoking the bitch, right?
Okay.
And then, I'm terrible at explaining things, so, let's see here. And then, here comes the chain, right? And then he put it around his neck. Well, we were like playing around and shit, and then I don't know.
So you were smoking a bitch. What would that be?
Ice.
Ice?
Ice.
Okay.
After observing Taylor's direct approach to the interrogation and giving away information voluntarily, Detective Graff takes a step ahead and asks for more detailed information. The graphic information about Shad's strangulation during intimacy and Taylor's admission is deeply disturbing. Detective Graff maintains his composure as such cases can often be quite difficult to handle so closely. Taylor, on the other hand, has an unfaltering expression where there is no sign of remorse. She also admits to consuming meth with Shad that day.
Is Shad likely to strangle?
I think so.
Have you done it before?
Yeah, he does. He likes it.
Have you used what we call props in the past?
Yes.
What?
Well, like
That or rope or chain or underwear or anything?
Yeah. That I shoved it in my mouth.
In the past or just recently?
When he was there, when he was on the bed. Yeah.
Taylor's open confession of enjoying strangling Shad during intimacy is highly unusual and disturbing. Such behavior is far from what most people would consider normal or healthy in a relationship. Her shy laughter when discussing the use of different props during intimate encounters with Shad adds another layer of complexity to her behavior. It may indicate a disconnect between her emotions and the gravity of her actions. The detectives faced with Taylor's unusual and disconcerting admissions are left with more questions than answers.
You dismembered the body too?
Yeah.
Well, what did you do with the body parts? Basement, upstairs, downstairs?
Absolutely in the basement. I know I forgot the head. I wanted the head.
Did you bring anything with you?
Yeah, it's in the van.
What?
It's in the van. It's, what is it? I don't know, a foot maybe.
The what?
I think it's a foot.
A foot in the van?
A leg maybe. I don't know. I'm like, I'm gonna bring it all, and then I'm like, man, this is messy, so then I just left it. I got lazy.
Okay.
I got lazy, and that's what I did, so I'm like.
Okay. How did you dismember his body?
Knives.
With what?
Knives.
Knives? Just more than one knife?
About 4.
Where'd you get those from?
Kitchen.
They weren't sharp?
No. It was alright. Bread knife works good.
Bread knife?
A bread knife works good, yeah.
Really?
I had to use what I used, so like, yeah. I got lazy last night, so.
Where would these knives be now?
They're in with all the organs and all the body parts.
And where was that?
In the black bag. It's in the black bag of,
In the basement?
It's in the basement. They're all in the basement. I never left the basement. I just went up the stairs.
So all the body parts and knives will be in a black bag. What kind of bag?
Black zipper bag next to a pink and black Under Armour backpack. That Shaq gave me. So I left it there.
Is it a big bag?
Medium.
What kind of stuff would you normally put in this bag?
Put anything in the bag.
Well, I mean, is it a trash bag or is it a garbage bag or is it, you know what I mean? Kind of bag?
Backpack.
No, the bag that has the body parts.
Oh yeah, the backpack.
That's a backpack? Is it a big one?
Yeah, the other one's like a little duffel, black duffel.
Okay. So you, at one point, did you bring these bags with you? Or were they already there?
I was gonna, but I got lazy. And
Right, you're going to bring them with you when you left. But were the bags there when you used them, or did you bring them with you with Shad? Or did you just find them there?
They were there. I found them there, and I emptied them out and put them in there. And
Taylor's unwavering confidence and expression when confirming the presence of the body in the house, along with her straightforward admission to dismembering and bagging it in the basement and in the van, reveal a disturbing level of detachment from the gruesome crime. However, she does remember and regrets her action of leaving the head behind when Detective Graff asked Taylor about meeting Shad's mother. Her shocking confession that she got lazy during the dismemberment deeply unsettles the detective. When pressed about specific details regarding the weapon she used to dismember the body, she does not take much time to answer that it was a knife, and also confirms that it is in one of the black bags where she kept the dismembered body parts. These responses raised many questions about her psyche.
Did you want Shad to be dead?
No, it was out of random. Like, I wasn't expecting that, and it kind of threw me off guard. And it was in an open place, like, you went in the basement, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty open.
Well, I haven't done it, but is it?
It is. Okay. So, like, it was weird. It was really weird. And you open the door to the outside, and you go down the stairs, and it's right there. Like, you can see everything, like, right as you go down the stairs. Yeah.
Okay. And so, where did you get the chain?
I don't know, he pulled it out of his pocket.
He pulled it out.
He had two of them, one for me, one for him.
And can you describe them to me?
Chain link.
Chain link?
Chain link and silver.
Silver? Okay. And what size? Was it like a dog chain or a large lock type of chain? You know what I'm saying?
This big.
So silver chains.
Yes.
And he had two of them. And what'd you guys do with them?
We put them around their necks.
You did. Okay. And then what were you doing while they were around their necks?
I was strangling them.
You were strangling them?
I was having fun with them, and then
Was their clothes on or off?
He had his shorts on.
He had his shorts on. How old are you?
I don't know. I didn't really care at the time. But,
Did he ever put the chain around you? Was the chain ever around your neck?
I put it around my neck.
Do you have any marks or anything?
He didn't get the chance to strangle me.
Yeah, just he didn't get a chance to strangle you?
No.
Was that he was going to though? Or was that part of the?
Yeah, I thought that was the thing, and then like I don't know, I just went a little crazy.
Okay. So when did you realize that Shad was not alive anymore?
You know, his face turned purple.
Okay.
He was coughing up blood, and he was pissing.
He was pissing himself. His face was all purple.
I still didn't stop. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what the blood, and then
So his blood was coming out of his
I kept on
mouth?
feeling his heartbeat. Hearing his heartbeat.
I'm sorry?
Hearing his heartbeat spread.
Okay. Did you hear it stop?
No. Maybe. No.
Okay.
No.
So,
I'm gonna try to do that.
did you figure he was dead then?
Yeah.
And what did you do?
Played with him a little bit.
As we've just seen, Taylor's admission of the unplanned nature of Shad's murder adds an element of unpredictability to the crime, raising questions about impulse control and sudden violence escalation. Her awareness of Shad's suffering and her inability to stop during the act show a lack of empathy in her. The choice of the chain as a weapon and her familiarity with it may suggest some level of premeditation. Additionally, her confession of playing with Shad's body with a shy laughter raises concerns about a potential necrophilia tendency, a common trait in psychopaths.
So then the three of you smoking marijuana and you and Shad smoked. And so then what happened then? Who went where?
I started cutting Shad's hair.
That's right, you said you
Yeah,
gave him a haircut.
Give him a good haircut and everything, and then right after that, AJ was just like, "Yo, I'm gonna go." So then I'm like, "Alright, see ya."
She left on her own?
Yeah. And me and Shannon, we took her out. I shot him up, and then I took him out. I did. I had one shot too.
Then where did you get that stuff from?
That's the same place.
I know, but, oh, so you bought it with the other stuff too? Where did you shoot them up with?
Same, the trash.
Yeah.
I crushed it up.
And where did you get the trash?
The table.
The table, where's the table located?
It's right by Scott's
Was it Scott's?
Yeah, he is.
So you took some pills from where? You said on a table?
From the counter.
On a counter? And it said on the label?
Yep.
And was it Scott's pills? Was Scott's name on there too?
Yeah.
And you crushed them up, and then what did you do with them?
I put it in the syringe. I pulled it back, and then I shot him.
Okay.
Taylor's admission that she and Shad had not only consumed but had also stolen prescription trazodone from her friend's drawer and injected it is concerning. This suggests a pattern of substance abuse and illegal activities, raising questions about her judgment and decision-making. Moreover, substance abuse generally stems from early exposure to addictive substances, peer pressure, and even mental disorder, so it was important for the detective to understand how significant the substance abuse angle was for this case.
What was the feeling that you got out of it?
That's all it is.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand what you were feeling. You're saying that it's kind of joyous. Did it make you happy? Was it just kind of exciting? Like opening Christmas presents? Or?
I don't know. This is the thing that I have, I've always had, you ever love something so much that you kill it? It happens to me. That's the feeling that I have. I love something so much that I kill it. I love it so much, and then I kill it. That's what happens to me. So,
Alright, so he dies, he's dead. And then you just kept playing with his body? Okay. And when did you decide to, how long did you play with his body, you think? Is that when you thought it was looked outside and it might have been light out too?
I don't know, it's so dark.
Still dark?
Yeah. It's gotta be two, 3 hours.
And is that also when you used the
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have sex with his body at all? At any point, or any type of contact? Obviously the stuff, but.
I grind it on, I put the in there.
You grind it on?
Yeah, I listen.
Did you ever put his in your vagina? Okay, you just grind on it?
Taylor's admission of enjoying violence suggests possible sadistic tendencies and raises questions about her psychological profile. Her consistent admission that she did not want to kill Shad also suggests lack of premeditation and impulsive behavior during the crime. This may indicate emotional dysregulation. Moreover, she utters a cryptic sentence about loving someone so much that you feel like killing them. This hints at a complex emotional state, potentially linked to a troubled relationship with the victim. The delayed dismemberment of the body, a few hours after taking Shad's life, further highlights the evolution of her psychological state during the crime.
Then what about the rest of his body parts? Did that take all day? Did you?
I was getting pissed off at the dismemberment process, actually.
Did it take a while? It took a while?
Yeah, because I was nodding out. So.
Okay, so you're kind of sleeping, kind of nodding in and out. Have you taken any other drugs?
I should have took drugs. That probably would have helped, but I didn't. And I just sat there. Yeah.
When Detective Graff asked Taylor about the possibility of drug consumption after the murder, Taylor's response is notable. She says she didn't consume drugs after the crime, but she expressed regret, indicating that she felt she should have. This suggests a desire for substances to cope with the aftermath, possibly as a means of escaping or numbing the emotional impact of her actions.
Didn't mean for that to happen.
You didn't mean to kill him?
I
But you
didn't.
didn't try to help him?
No, I didn't. No. It works both ways. Like, I have no idea.
Right, you knew he was gonna die, so.
I mean, I didn't, but at the same time, I woke up like, that's bad. I didn't know what to do, because, like, he was gonna be like, ah, like, fuck, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because, like, I don't know.
You liked it?
I liked it. I'm like, fuck. Like, it was, like, I didn't know what to do, because, like, oh, I liked it, so.
Well, you knew that you didn't want to call the police or an ambulance or anything, so.
Actually, I thought about it. And then, I was getting angry at myself.
Mm-hmm.
Very angry at myself. Because I didn't have a practical.
Yeah.
Sucks not having that.
Detective Graff's assertiveness in pointing out that Shad was already dead despite Taylor's apologies is a common interrogation technique to maintain control and assert dominance. Taylor's attempt to convince Detective Graff that the murder was impulsive and her comical expression to illustrate her emotions afterward suggest a potential disconnect from the gravity of her actions. This answer may indicate a defense mechanism in response to the trauma of the murder inflicted by her. Detective Graff's query about why Taylor didn't call an ambulance or the police after realizing that Shad was dead is crucial. This question pushes Taylor to introspect more on her actions and to bring out some genuine remorse.
Okay, so initially they had her into the blue Tupperware thing, kind of?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of blood in that one right now.
In the blue Tupperware thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, at any point did you, like, before you, because you said you removed the head first, did you start removing limbs right away, or did you kind of wait a little while? And...
That's the weird thing, like, because when it started happening, like, I started, like, nodding out.
Okay.
And then I was going crazy on the limbs, like, even while I was sleeping, and then it looked messed up, and I didn't like it.
Okay. But you believe the blue tub, that big tub, like, probably, I'm thinking it's the way you're describing it's only, like, Tupperware tubs about, like, this size, that's your cubic foot one, and that's where most of the blood is, along with a bunch of his organs.
The organs are everywhere, too.
His organs are everywhere?
Yeah.
Did you, like, hide organs in the house?
Oh, they're in plastic bags.
In the tub?
In backpacks.
In the backpack?
In the backpacks, and then in the...
Did you remove all organs, like his intestines and everything, or?
Yeah.
Where are the intestines? Do you remember?
They're gonna be in a plastic bag.
They're all in plastic bags
They're gonna be in a
too.
plastic
So that
bag.
blue tub is almost just all blood, is what you? I thought you were saying.
It should be like only like this much.
Alright. Okay. We're just trying to clarify a couple of things. I'm just trying to make sense of something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Alright.
Taylor's casual and unemotional description of the gruesome details of how she cut off Shad's head suggests a significant desensitization to violence. This may stem from traumatic experiences that individuals encounter. Taylor does have a history which will be revealed soon in this video. Taylor seems somewhat proud of giving the police a hard time in her interrogation. This is potentially connected to the sadistic tendencies that she nurtures. On February 14, 2023, Quinn Jolly, Taylor's attorney, was in court with his client with an appeal to delay the date of her trial. Judge Thomas J. Walsh reluctantly made the decision to allow the defense the extension. Attorney Jolly justified that the defense expert needed more time to check out the case and testify about Taylor's competence. Interestingly, Taylor wasn't too thrilled about this change and ended up pointing the finger at her lawyer for the trial delay. Watch how she expressed her disappointment.
Stop it.
Taylor's violent outburst in response to the trial delay suggests a significant difficulty in regulating her emotions. Her immediate and aggressive reaction indicates impulsivity, where she acts on her emotions without considering the consequences. These observations align with the analysis from her interrogation, where her behavior and responses raise concerns about her psychological state, including possible sadistic tendencies and emotional detachment. So, after the commotion on February 14th, the court resumed after 10 minutes. Then, Attorney Jolly told Judge Thomas J. Walsh that he was going to file a motion to request his removal from this case. Taylor's emotional dysregulation is consistent throughout her trial. Here are some instances from the trial.
I just decided to stop dissociating a lot, and I felt bad for not talking to a whole lot of friends that I used to talk to, like Taylor and Chad. So I just hit up Taylor randomly. I was like, "Hey, like, what's up? Are you going to hang out?" Basically, I was like, Taylor was asking, like, "Do you want to hang out with Shad?" She was asking me, like, for consent to hang out with Shad, to bring him over. And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. That's cool."
Did something happen to Taylor's mother at some point?
She passed away.
Okay.
She passed away May 20th, 2009, in her sleep.
Okay. Did that take a toll on your daughter, Taylor?
Well, of course.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit,
took a
sir?
toll on my son as well and me.
Okay. It took a toll on everybody, correct?
But yeah.
Did you see any changes in Taylor's behavior, first of all?
She was a little rambunctious. Nothing. I mean, she played volleyball. She had a good amount of friends she hung out with. She was a normal kid.
None of her reactions appeared typical, almost as if she lives in a separate world within her own mind. Considering her family history, there are aspects that need to be delved into deeper. Both Taylor's father and husband were in prison at the time of Shad Therian's murder, each serving sentences for separate charges. Her father had been sentenced to 12 years for a child assault case since 2018, and he had also served a 30-day sentence for domestic abuse in 2017. Meanwhile, her husband was serving a 28-month sentence for distributing methamphetamine. This raises the possibility that Taylor was exposed to an unhealthy environment for all her life. Both her father and husband had criminal records and were involved in illegal activities. It's possible that Taylor's desensitization to violence is connected to these circumstances. The 4-day trial started on July 24, 2023. In the first part of Taylor Schabusiness' trial, she was found guilty on all charges. In the second part, where they checked if she had any mental problems when the crime happened, the jury decided unanimously that she didn't. Watch how her expression remains during the verdict.
And my understanding is that the jury has reached a verdict. Is that correct? Yes. Right. If you would hand that to the bailiff then, please. So, Ms. Schabusiness, this is your opportunity to address me. If there's anything on your mind you'd like to say before I pass sentence.
No, there isn't.
Okay. Take a look at probationary sentences. Those aren't appropriate. They would diminish the severity of the offense. But at this time, given all the factors that I have to consider, it's the decision of this court and the judgment of the law that Ms. Schabusiness be sentenced as follows. As to in 22 CF 363, count 1, that's the first degree intentional homicide as a repeater. It's a Class A felony. I'm going to impose life imprisonment without the possibility of extended supervision. I believe that's appropriate in light of the findings that I've already made. As far as count 2, mutilation of a corpse as a repeater, a Class F felony, I'm going to adopt the recommendation of the pre-sentence investigation writer, 7.5 years of initial confinement followed by 4 years of extended supervision. That'll be consecutive to count 1. As far as count 3, third degree sexual assault as a repeater, Class G felony, I'm going to impose 3 years of initial confinement followed by 4 years of extended supervision. That will be consecutive to count 2 and count 1. As far as the revocation cases, I'm going to impose 1 year of incarceration on each of those counts. Those will run concurrent to the other offenses. I've reviewed, as I've indicated, reviewed both of the pre-sentence investigation reports. There's certainly valuable things in them. I'm going to, as conditions of supervision, I'm going to require no contact with the victim's family, maintain absolute sobriety, a complete SOT assessment and treatment follow-through, obtain and maintain full-time employment. To the extent there's ever supervision, GPS monitoring, I'm going to require an AOD assessment and follow-through, psychological evaluation and follow-through. The recommendations that are contained in the pre-sentence investigation report submitted by the defense indicates or suggests that there be services engaged in for substance abuse and other mental health issues. That's a reasonable suggestion. And I think I've encompassed it in the recommendations that I made, which is there needs to be a compass evaluation and follow through with any treatment recommendations that are proposed. But again, an AODA assessment and follow through and psychological evaluation so that Ms. Schabusiness can get the help that she needs while she serves this sentence.
In this unsettling case, we've uncovered the truly horrifying nature of a criminal that committed a gruesome murder. It is evident that Taylor Schabusiness is a deeply disturbed individual with her psychological complexities. Taylor's involvement in substance abuse, coupled with a family history scarred by criminality, sets the stage for a disturbing narrative. The violence inflicted by her is beyond comprehension, and it leaves us with a haunting question. What made her do such terrible things? Did substance abuse distort her already troubled psyche? Or was she pure evil? Either way, this case serves as a haunting reminder to the chilling complexity of human behavior, leaving us with more questions than answers.
Danny and Nicole made them drink their pee. They made her drink that dog poop off of the floor. They made her use a toothbrush up her feet. They made her brush her teeth with it afterwards. I think it's called mace or pepper spray or something. And they sprayed it in her face, and her face was burned and her eye was swollen shut and stuff. And they hit her in the face real hard and made her lips swell up really bad. I was so scared. I've never seen anybody do that to someone before.
On March 27, 2011, the Brooks family was finally happy. Sherry, the matriarch of the family, had come up with a perfect plan to kill intellectually disabled Vera Jo Regal. Yeah, you heard it right. It wasn't a one-person job. The entire family had participated in the murder. Sherry's son and Vera's boyfriend, Zachary Brooks, hit Vera so much that every bone on her face was broken. Sherry's other son, Chucky, made Vera dog poo. Daniel Bixler, who was the son of Sherry's cousin, shoved the knife into her. Daniel's girlfriend, Nicole, kept asking Sherry if she could kill Vera right there. But Sherry had a different plan. She wanted Vera to turn into, quote, hamburger meat. She was thrown on the tracks with stab wounds throughout her body. Nicole and Daniel left her there to go to a party. They heard the train approaching, but it suddenly stopped. They assumed it was an engine problem. But, in fact, the train conductor had found a dead body. It didn't take long for the authorities to reach the doorstep of the Brooks house. Different psychological assessments of diversely accused persons all rolled into one case and one video.
Okay, so what brings you up here today?
Well, I had gotten some information that I was getting arrested.
Okay.
Because I guess the interview I did on TV, Channel 11 News, and I'm getting told by a lot of different people that I'm the one that's going to end up going to jail for it. And I mean, I came up here, to tell everybody because I'm getting harassed on Facebook. And I'm getting called, a killer. I'm getting told that I had a part in it. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know what they were going to do when they left the house with her. And as I told everybody else, I wanted to stop them, but Danny put a knife to me and told me if I did anything that he was going to kill me. I didn't believe him at the time because I didn't think he would do it. And, and when they got back and they told me everything they did, I wanted to call the cops. I wanted to get the phone and call so bad. But Danny told me if I picked up that phone that he would do the same thing to me. And I was just so scared. And
I told you about the belt part, right?
You mentioned a belt.
Yes, and they had it was a piece to a bike, like it goes on the bike neck where the handlebars are.
Okay.
And it had bolts on it, and they put that around the belt, and they slammed it, and they hit her in the back with it, and they continuously kept hitting her like that, and Danny was stomping on her head, and I got scared, and then I sat on the bed next to Sherry, and I couldn't breathe. I was getting really scared. I was having a panic attack or something, and I was shaking real bad.
Shannon expresses distress over being labeled a killer and facing online hostility. By portraying herself as a victim of social media backlash, Shannon might be attempting to garner sympathy or elicit a more lenient response from the interrogators. But as you guessed it, she did not care for Vera, who was being tortured in the same house where Shannon lived.
And then they, Danny and Nicole made them drink they made her drink that, and dog poop off of the floor, and they made her use a toothbrush up her, and they made her brush her teeth with it afterwards.
Okay.
Just everything. I mean, trying to think. They made her drink dish soap, I think it was, or laundry soap, or I wasn't in the kitchen or anything. They had, I think it's called mace or pepper spray or something, and they sprayed it in her face, and her face was burned and her eye was swollen shut and stuff. And they hit her in the face real hard and made her lips swell up really bad. I was so scared. I've never seen anybody do that to someone before. And I didn't know what to do. I mean, I sat on the couch, thinking somebody else would, pick up the phone and, call the cops or something. And I just think that everybody in the house was scared because no one's ever seen Danny like that before. And I mean, that was the first time I ever met him. I didn't know him before then. And I mean, he had just gotten out of prison and no one would tell me why. And, it's just, I got really scared and stuff. And my husband, when he found out that Danny had held a knife to my, my left side of my neck, my husband, he was trying to protect me and stuff. So, he got in between me and Danny and told Danny, to stop because he was going to end up hurting someone really bad. And I guess I'm just really scared. I don't know. I'm really worried. I can't sleep at night now because I'm just worried that, something's going to happen.
Shannon has entered the room with a purpose. She's not waiting for investigators to question her. She's here to reveal and list down everything. Her parrot speech goes beyond mere recounting. This pattern may indicate a compulsive and urgent need to steer and dominate the narrative. Yet Shannon's focus extends beyond the events themselves. Her emphasis on her emotional distress aligns with a victim mentality. She seems to be attempting to deflect attention from any potential role she played. Following Shannon's narrative, we have heard one name come up rather frequently: Nicole. What does she have to say about this?
You said they acted like they were getting along okay?
They acted like everything was fine, but knowing Vera, she never really acts like anything wrong. She just go along with anything anybody tells her, She's probably the sweetest girl I've ever met, to be honest.
Okay. Can you tell me why Danny be hitting her or pushing her?
Danny hit her?
Yeah.
I have no idea about that.
Okay. Did you see that?
No. I have no idea about any of that.
Again, talk about being truthful, okay?
I have no idea about any of that.
Okay. You never seen Danny lay a hand on her?
No.
Because she was looking at him?
No.
Okay. Did you ever get mad with her because he was looking?
I get mad with her, but I just walk away because I know my temper.
Okay.
I just kind of say, Vera, just please stop looking at me. I was like, he's not with you. He's with me.
Why would that make you mad? If she's just, you think she's trying to come on to him or what?
Because she told Sherry that she wanted him.
Okay.
Her exact words, I want to Danny. And then she said she wanted to be with me. So it kind of makes me mad, you know, but I just...
Did she want to be with you too? Okay.
Because I guess she's bi or something.
Okay.
But I just kind of walk away from it because I know my temper and I'm trying to...
I mean, did you ever lay hands on her?
I can't hit somebody.
And did you ever see Danny lay hands on her?
I've never seen him lay hands.
Did it get heated? Did she say anything back to you? What'd she do? How'd she react?
She just kind of said, okay. I really don't know, honestly, what goes on, and I just started living there like a week ago.
Right.
So.
You were talking earlier about your temper, and you know how your temper is. Tell me about your temper. What's that all about?
Normally, I would go and punch walls, like, before I even started hanging out with Danny and started dating Danny again. My friend made me really mad. So I went outside and I punched a fence, some 4x4s, and then I went back inside and punched a texture wall.
How long ago was that?
When assessing a person based solely on video evidence, speculation can only take us so far. Nonetheless, we can definitely and surely say that Nicole embodies the traits of a master manipulator. Her attempt to paint Vera in a positive light, even as she knows she herself killed Vera, suggests she's a monster. Now, as Nicole's lies unravel before the discerning eyes of the detectives, it begs the question, what is the full truth? For that, we turn to Shannon once again.
Vera, she got up to go to the bathroom and I looked over and I seen Nicole follow her into the bathroom, and I was sitting on the couch watching the baby, you know, so she wouldn't like go in and step on mom's feet or anything. So I was sitting in the living room watching her play and stuff. And I heard Nicole in there yelling at Vera in the bathroom. And Vera she was like crying or saying something. And then Nicole comes back out and she's laughing and smiling and she's got her hand like this on her face. And then I asked her what happened and she says, you don't want to know. And I said, okay. And then Vera comes out and her hair's all wet and she's covering her face like this, like her eyes are hurting her. And when Nicole was, you know, out of the room, I asked Vera what happened. And Vera said that that Nicole had put her head in the toilet and made her drink the water. And then that's also when they made her use the toothbrush up her and brush her teeth with it. So she was kind of gagging and stuff when she came out and she got a drink. And then Danny I think it was Danny, took the ketchup and poured it on her head. And I went in the kitchen. I said, okay, that's enough. You guys need to stop now. And I told Vera to go back in Sherry's room after she had gotten the ketchup out of her hair. And I told her, you know, just go in there and sit down, you know, just don't do anything, you know, just don't make them mad. And then Danny looked at me and said, why are you protecting her? And I said, because you guys are going far enough, you know, you guys need to stop this, you're hurting her. So she went back in there and sat down. And I came back downstairs and I heard like a noise or like something coming from Sherry's room. And Sherry looks over at me and says, you need to come in here. And I said, okay. And that's when they were hitting her with the belt with the little bike part on it. And I went up to Danny and I grabbed it, or I didn't grab him because I was afraid to. I went up and I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, you need to stop right now. And they lifted up her shirt and her back was black. I mean, it was black and blue and purple and yellow, and it was horrible, and red. And she kept holding her head like this and she had her head down, and I thought, her head was bleeding or something. And so then that's when Danny put the knife to my neck and told me, he told me if I didn't hit her that he was gonna kill me. So I took the thing off and I hit her once, and it was only like not even hard, it was like kind of soft. I was really scared. So then he kept going closer and he's like, do it again, and I was like, no, and I threw the belt, and then Nicole grabbed it, and then I ran out of the room because my husband had gotten back after they had went to get trash bags. And then I had went to him, and one of the boys, I think it was Chucky, the youngest one, had told Michael what Danny did. And then Michael had gotten mad, and I told him just to calm down and sit down. So I sat down on the couch with him. And then finally, they left her alone for a while. I was sitting on the couch because someone had sprayed something upstairs, and it was coming down, and I ended up going to the hospital because of it. And then after I got home, Danny and Nicole were upstairs when I got home on the bed they were sleeping on. And all I said to them when I walked up was, I lost my baby. And Danny looks at me with like this stern look on his face. And he said, that's it. I'm going to kill her. And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think that he would actually do it. And I laughed, and I was like, yeah, right. And I walked in my room. I laid down for a little bit.
After absorbing the harrowing details, you might be shocked, wondering why such cruelty was inflicted upon Vera, and perhaps more baffled by the silence that followed. In this case, everyone connected, be it Brooks' family, Sherry's son, their partners, ex-partners, friends, or relatives, either directly participated in violence or chose silence. Maybe, definitely, the capacity for evilness isn't exclusive.
Well, I went back downstairs, and Vera was getting her shoes on. This was around 9:30. Yeah, it was around 9:30. And I walked down and I asked Vera, I was like, where are you going? And she said, well, Danny and Nicole want me to go with them somewhere. I was like, okay. And I had asked her again, I was like, where are you guys going? And she told me, well, I'm going to meet up with my boyfriend. I don't want to walk alone. I said, oh, okay, which her boyfriend at the time was Larry Spence. So we figured, okay, she's going to meet up with Larry, and then, she'll probably go with him for a little bit. So they left. Then about a half hour later, they came back around 10:05 or 10:15. And then Nicole walks in, and she looked at me and she was shaking, and she was like, she's gone. She's gone. She kept saying she's gone. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I was scared. I was like, oh my God, please tell me you didn't do anything. And she's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And I was like, and I stopped. Like, I couldn't talk or anything. I was like, oh my God. And then Danny and Zachary and Garth had left, and they went over to Danny's sister's Desta's house and to get drunk, I guess. I'm not sure about that story. They came home, or it was like 12:30, 1 o'clock, they came home, and they come barging in our room, and, they're all three drunk and stuff, and I asked Danny, I was like, why'd you do it? And he's like, because I wanted to. And I was like, well, that's not a good enough reason. You shouldn't have did that. That was wrong. I mean, she didn't deserve that. And all he did was look at me, smile, and say, yes, she did. Nicole, she didn't say anything, so I was guessing she passed out. They had her throat all the way around, all the way around, and that they had stabbed her under her left, and that they had stabbed her in the heart, and they had took the knife and they put it up her behind, and they had twisted, and that they stuck it up her, and they also did the same thing. And
Who was actually saying that though? Which one of them was telling you?
Nicole told me that. They wanted to make sure that she wasn't alive, so they put her on the railroad tracks and they laid her across them to make sure that a train had hit her.
Within Brooke's family, there seems to be a pervasive presence of groupthink and conformity, where each member of the family, from the eldest to the youngest, seemingly fell in line, participating in various forms of abuse directed at Vera. But why? Everyone in that family was wanting to fit in and find acceptance. And then there's the fear factor. The fear of standing out and being the odd one. It was cranked up to the max. The whole sense of belonging depended on just going with the flow, even if it meant doing things they had never dreamt of. In such situations, there's often a puppet master pulling the strings, and in this family, it was the matriarch of the family, Sherry. Now, here's a thought grenade for you. How much of this behavior is conscious? Or were these people just following an unspoken script written by Sherry?
Yeah, said that Vera was looking at Danny.
Well, you know handicapped, slower people, they tend to stare anyway.
And she said, what do you want, my boyfriend now? She said, boom. Started hitting on her, slapping her, punching her, and then took her fucking head and ramming it into my dresser. And it's like, oh my God.
Took her head and rammed it in your dresser.
Yeah, and then she kept telling Shannon, she said, why don't you stick up for your man? She said, she's been looking at Michael too. Shannon kept hitting on her and stuff because, and then Nicole said, give me the belt again, I want to do it.
Honey, Grandma can't color, she's driving.
Then she kept hitting her in her head and it's like, oh my God.
Sherry had sexually assaulted her own kids and was especially obsessed with baby girls, yet most of her children came back to live with her as they grew up and flourished in violence, just like her. She wasn't raising a family, she was instead building a cult. So how did Sherry blur these lines? The answer is rather disturbing. She made this possible by abusing each and every one of them. You might have heard of Stockholm Syndrome, which is a psychological phenomenon where victims develop feelings of attachment and empathy towards their abusers. To answer why is rather difficult, but it can be due to a combination of fear, isolation, and perceived acts of kindness.
They had her by her hair and they were just hitting her head on the floor and kicking her and punching her, and they had grabbed something from outside and they were hitting her with that. It looked like a crescent wrench or something. Mm-hmm. They were hitting her in the back with that and the side and stuff, and Danny would stomp, he would jump on her head, like he would jump up in the air and then down on her head, and he would kick her, and I was so disgusted by it, but every time I tried to, stand up and do something, Danny would push me out of the way and tell me no, and it's just, I wanted to stop him, and it won't get out of my head, it won't leave, and yeah.
This information that you've said today, you didn't tell it to me on Sunday when we talked.
Right. When we talked on Sunday, I was scared, and I couldn't remember everything. I was having a blank in my head, and I think it was because I was nervous and I was scared.
So you're telling me that Danny threatened to kill her, and then Danny and Nicole leave with her, and it doesn't register to you what's going to happen?
Yeah.
After they beat her repeatedly all day long.
It didn't click in my head until they left. And
so you decided to come in here on Sunday and not be forthcoming with the information that you had.
I couldn't remember everything at the time. I was.
Shannon, let's stop that, okay? I don't believe you, okay? I would believe more that you were scared than I would believe that you don't remember. Because your memory right now is pretty damn good, 3 days later.
When we're sitting in the room and I'm telling you, we're here, Vera's missing, we want to make sure she's okay, nothing's happened with her, and you got all this information, I mean, you can't tell me that you didn't remember that on Sunday.
And for you to come in here to lie is only going to make it worse on you and everybody else involved, okay? Obviously, you know Vera is dead. Vera was murdered, okay? And whether you want to accept it or not, you're a part of it. Were you holding the blade? Did you do what was done to her? Certainly not. Okay. But you have kept information from us during the course of this investigation. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's try and fix this as best we can. Okay. And we need you to be honest about everything that happened. Everything. Okay. With Vera, not just Nicole and not just Dan. Okay. And this is coming from multiple sources. It's coming from all over the place, okay? We know Zach's involved. We don't know exactly how you're involved. We know about you hitting her with the belt. That part's true. I'm having some issues with your version of the story, though. Okay? And in the big scheme of things, in the big picture, it's way down here. Her death is way up here, okay? So you need to think about how honest you want to be with us, okay? And if you need to go home and relax and maybe come back tomorrow, we're trying to be as honest with you as we can, okay? You're in trouble, okay? You are in trouble. You lied. In the course of a murder investigation. You just straight out lied. There's no other way to describe it. You completely lied.
There seems to be several loopholes in the story so far, but what's the most disturbing aspect about this case isn't the torture, it is the selfishness of the people involved in the case. As the detectives question and confront Shannon about her initial dishonesty, we get the same excuse as made by everyone else. They were threatened to be quiet. Sure, the family was twisted and capable of killing, but does that discount these people of their responsibilities? And do you think Shannon would have played no part in the story? Well, there's a twist in the waiting.
I do not want a lawyer. I want a lawyer.
You do want a lawyer? Okay.
Okay.
We'll stop at this point. I'm going to tell you right now, you need to get a lawyer, okay? Because what's happening is, if you don't already know, we've talked to everybody, we've got written statements. There's a lot more than just Daniel and Nicole going down for this, okay? I'm going to tell you that up front, all right? Your mom may be one of them as well, all right? I think you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think everybody, don't say anything because you said you wanted a lawyer. So I would highly advise you, as soon as you get back over to that jail, you better contact a lawyer, because as they say, everybody's jumping on the bus and you don't want to be the last one on the bus. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying by that?
Yep.
So it's going to benefit you greatly for one of these gentlemen to call Judge Rouse and say they believe you were honest and truthful. Okay? And that's the best shot I can give you.
I think we went back home and seen Danny and Nicole at the house, and then found out they were beating on her.
Okay, did you said earlier that you saw that? Is that when you saw them beating on her?
Yeah.
Okay, what was exactly did you see?
Nicole and Danny beating on my baby's mom.
Okay, explain that to me.
They were hitting on her, kicking her.
With their fists?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Okay, and this was inside your house?
Yeah.
Where did this take place inside the house?
In the living room.
Okay. Was there anybody else around when that was happening?
No. My mom was, but she was in bed.
Okay.
Anybody else hitting her?
No. Well,
specifically?
Shannon was.
Okay. Did you get a couple hits in too?
No, I never hit her.
You never hit her?
No. I don't believe in hitting females.
So they were hitting and kicking her?
Yeah.
How many times you think, roughly? Let me stay around that same time. You didn't see any spray, any mace, nothing like
We
that?
never had mace or anything.
Okay, so no, you don't know anything about a spray?
No.
So Shannon comes back from the hospital, and that's when her and Vera get into it?
Yep. She said you killed my baby and everything that was inside me.
Okay.
And she started laying off and hitting her.
Okay, how was she hitting her?
She hit her she started hitting her with her fist and everything, and then she got a belt with a padlock and started hitting her in the back with it.
Shannon did?
Yeah.
Was anybody, you were there? Who else was there when that was going on?
Me, Michael, Shannon, Garth, Chucky, Ellen Cap, Danny.
So Alan was still there when that happened?
Everybody was, except for my dad, because he was grocery shopping.
So everybody saw all that? Was Shannon hitting on Vera?
Except for my mom.
Except for your mom?
Because she takes the meds and goes to sleep.
Okay.
Even after getting a legal counsel to represent him, the truth, it seemed, was his best defense. With so much already known about the case, any attempt to deviate from the established narrative would only serve to further incriminate him. The family-wide tendency to place blame on each other suggests a phenomenon known as group polarization. It's hard to say if the Brooks family was an echo chamber, magnifying individual twisted fantasies, or a spontaneous combustion of conflicting personalities. But what we can say for sure is that the blame game was coupled with power struggles and manipulation within the family.
And who all knew that you had had a miscarriage?
Everybody in the house. When I came home, I went straight upstairs, and then I came downstairs after Danny had told me that's it, she's dead, and I walked downstairs, and then I told Sherry, and I told the rest of them, and I didn't think anything would really happen, I guess. He didn't seem like that kind of person. I mean, to my point, he didn't seem like that kind of guy.
Even though you'd seen him beating her?
Yeah.
He didn't seem like that kind of guy?
I was really confused, and I was like, it's been like really hard for me because I seen my mom go through the same thing. She was beaten and abused, and
How did Zachary react when he found out that you lost the baby?
Zachary, he gave me a hug and said that he was sorry and that he wishes that I didn't. And he was calm. I mean, he wasn't like, mad or crazy or anything. He was just upset.
Kind of know why you want to talk to us, right? Huh? Kind of know why we want to talk?
Yep.
Can you kind of go back and tell us what happened that day?
All I remember is Danny and Nicole was beating on my baby's mama, and they were making her eat a bunch of stuff, making her drink soap, their piss. And then Shannon told Danny that she was pregnant, which she wasn't, and Shannon told Danny to do what she did.
Okay, so Shannon told
Danny to kill him.
Okay. Is that something you heard?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember exactly what was said?
Shannon told Danny and Nicole to kill my baby's mom.
Okay.
Because she said that Shannon said that she was pregnant and Vera sprayed pepper mace, whatever that is, and we never had pepper mace or anything like that in the house.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Who sprayed it?
Shannon said that Vera sprayed it and killed her baby that was inside her, and which she was not pregnant. And she said Shannon told Danny and Nicole to kill her.
And we went upstairs, and I walked in my room and I was talking to Michael, and our door was shut, and I had mentioned something about, there wasn't nothing there, that I wasn't pregnant. And Nicole lost it. She came in our room and she's like, "You lost the baby." I was like, "Whoa, I never said I was pregnant, I said I'm not." There was nothing there.
What you told me today is quite a bit different from what you told me the first time around. Okay? First time around, you told me that, you had done several self-pregnancy tests that showed you were pregnant and everything.
I did forget to mention that today, but yes, I did do them at home and they were positive, but then when I went to the ER and told them what they had said, and they had done a blood test that had come back negative. So I, in fact, was not pregnant. So it's been like that for a very long time.
The truth finally came to light. Shannon's claim of having a panic attack while others attacked Vera juxtaposed with her role as the initiator of false accusations and subsequent abuse. She'd gone out of her way to frame Vera just for the sake of it. Because everyone tortured her, why would Shannon hold back, right? With the sadistic facade of the Brooks family laid bare, the narrative now turns towards the courtroom. After their arrest, Daniel helped the police locate the murder weapons. A butcher knife thrown in the Blanchard River. In May 2011, charges were filed against 4 family members for obstructing justice related to Vera Jo's murder. Zachary faced 2 counts, while Sherry, Michael, and Shannon faced 1 each. Despite the charges, they pleaded not guilty and were released on bonds. Later, 14-year-old Chuck faced obstruction charges too. In June, Daniel pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. In a turn of events, Zachary changed his plea to guilty, agreeing to testify against Daniel and Nicole. Michael also admitted guilt to obstructing justice. In August, Daniel changed his plea, confessing to serious charges, earning a life sentence without parole for 40 years. Nicole admitted guilt, pleading to conspiracy to commit murder, kidnapping, and tampering with evidence. She received a 23-year prison sentence, the maximum allowed by law. For those who loved Vera Jo, the scars run deep, and the psychological wounds may never fully heal. From manipulators to psychopaths, sadists to liars, each member played a distinct role in perpetuating the cycle of abuse and deception. Beneath the surface of their twisted actions lies a deeper truth. A truth that speaks about the fragility of the human psyche and the insidious nature of abuse. Each member of the Brooks family, from the most outwardly charming to the most overtly malevolent, bears the scars of their upbringing, their choices influenced by a toxic environment of fear and control. Vera endured abuse from both her biological father and stepfather, while Sherry herself suffered abuse at the hands of her father. The cycle continued with Sherry and her children falling into the same pattern. The Brooks family was built on the foundation of abuse. So, all this prompts a vital question. Did the members of the Brooks family have any choice to do something right?
How do you know that? It took the whole night.
I don't know exactly, but I went to my room and she was still in pain. I could hear her, but then in the morning it was done.
Cameron Rogers, a 22-year-old resident of Ottawa, Canada, wound up in Montreal after killing his adoptive parents. He had killed them on the morning of November 20th, 2016, and tried to flee, but he failed to escape. He then called 911 to turn himself in and confess to his crimes. The very next morning after this call, on November 29th, around 6 a.m., he was brought in for questioning. At this point, detectives had very limited information available on the crime. After they received the call, local police were sent to the Carlton Heights neighborhood in Ottawa, where the body of Dave Rogers, 69, was found shut in a suitcase, and the body of his wife, Meryl Gleddy Rogers, 63, was found wrapped in a tarp.
what was going on right before you killed them?
I was chopping melon.
Sorry?
I was
Chopping
chopping melon.
melon?
Yeah.
Okay. And where were your parents in relation to you at that point?
My mom was doing something else in the kitchen.
Okay.
And my dad was somewhere else in the house.
Okay. And then what happened?
Do I have to talk about this? I don't want to talk about this.
Okay, well, why don't we talk about something else first?
I had to, I dragged my mom in a tarp.
Okay.
And then I put my dad in a suitcase.
Okay.
And then pulled him out.
Okay, and how'd you get him in a suitcase?
Well, I sort of rolled him into it.
How long did it take?
What do you mean?
Like before your mom, like how long did you...
Well, my dad didn't take very long, but my mom took a long time.
Okay.
And it was really hard because she was in pain and I wanted it to stop. And I couldn't make it stop. And I felt so bad because she was in pain and I wanted her not to be in pain, but I couldn't stop it. And it went for the whole night.
And what?
It took the whole night for her to die.
This case is also especially sensitive as Cameron is on the autism spectrum, and the case needs to be handled with the utmost sense and regard. What could have driven this innocent-looking man to kill his own parents? Let's start with the 911 call and find out what happened on that day.
Hello?
Hello.
I would like to confess to a murder.
Okay. Well, so where are you?
I actually, I'm on a street,
Mm-hmm.
in Montreal. I don't know where that street is.
Well, you need to know if you want me to send somebody.
Yeah, that's true, Wayne. I'm near a parking garage.
Okay, you need to be more specific. I need an address or intersection. And who did you kill?
My mom and dad.
Okay. Where do they live?
They live in Ottawa.
They live in Ottawa?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have an address?
1614 Appledorn. That's...
How do you spell the street name?
1614 and then APELDOORN.
Okay. Hey, what's your name?
My name is Cameron. Cameron Rogers.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
22.
Here's the street. Ontario and Savoie.
Okay. Are you gonna stay on the corner?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I will stay on
So
the
what are you wearing? The clothing?
I'm wearing an orange puffy coat and orange mitts with jeans.
Okay. I'll send somebody to go and talk to you and just see what's going on. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
After the cold-blooded murder of his own parents, Cameron stayed in the house for a week and then tried to escape Canada. It was not long before he realized that he would not be able to make it out of the country, so he took shelter in an under-construction building in Montreal. Soon, he realized that he would not be able to keep up with hiding out in the cold, so he called 911 and asked to be arrested to confess his crimes.
Hey, so how you doing?
Good.
Good, you're okay?
Yeah.
All right. Do you remember my name?
No.
You just met me for the first time,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, okay. So my name's Teresa.
Okay.
I'm with the Ottawa Police, and I'm a police officer, and I work in the Major Crime Unit, all right? So I met you for the very first time today, right? Just a few minutes ago, you were in your cells. I was with another officer, and we escorted you here, and we told you to bring your blanket, because as you can tell, it's a little chilly in this room, right? Okay. These rooms are recorded. Okay, so since it's being recorded, I'm just going to indicate today's date and time. It's Tuesday, November 29th, and it's 6:30 in the morning. And your name is?
Cameron.
Cameron Rogers?
Yes.
With an S, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, my name's Teresa Kelm. I'm a police officer. And just before we get going, it's my duty to make sure that you understand why you're here. Okay? Those are your rights. Okay? You have rights when you're under arrest. And so I want to make sure that you understand what your rights are, okay, to be fair to you, all right? So do you understand that you're under arrest right now? Okay, and what do you believe you're under arrest for?
Killing my parents.
Okay, so that's called, it's first-degree murder, okay? So when people are under arrest, they have rights, and it's my duty to explain them to you. So you have the right to retain and instruct counsel. Okay, so that means you can call any lawyer you wish, all right? If you don't have a lawyer, you can call legal aid.
Here, the reason that the interrogator seems to be asking some basic but absurd questions like, "Do you remember my name?" when she has never met Cameron, is because she's aware that Cameron is not the usual perpetrator. She knows that he's on the autism spectrum, which may indicate that he has limited mental capacities, and that his ability to understand basic things will be highly compromised. She's trying to understand the level of intellect she can expect during the interrogation. This style is especially used with people who have mental disorders.
I understand you were adopted, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And how was that? How did that go with your parents?
It went well.
It went well, yeah, good. Okay. Now, who's the closest person to you, would you say?
My dad.
Your dad, yeah, okay. All right.
It's incredibly ironic that he says he was close to his father, given the brutality of the crimes that he inflicted on him. A natural response when it comes to talking about the person closest to you in the context of being murdered would evoke the most complex emotions. Cameron himself is the person who killed his father, and yet he sits in a composed position with little to no emotions of grief or guilt. This can only imply a few things. Either he is entirely dissociated due to a lack of emotions, or he's unable to process the severity of his crime. The latter seems unlikely, as at the time of the interview, 8 days had already passed since his crimes, and he had tried to escape before turning himself in.
So what's been going on in your life then? How have things been going for you? Like,
in what way?
In what way? Like, were you happy with the way things were going, or?
I don't know if I was happy with how I was going with school, because I was doing a program that I didn't like.
Right. Yeah. I understand.
And also, I wasn't really being able to get a job because my parents would insist that I would have to work for them.
For them?
Yeah.
And what do you mean by that?
Like around the house.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, and how'd that make you feel?
Not good.
Not good, yeah. So they didn't want you to go get a job outside the house? So they just wanted you working at the house?
Yeah. And
okay.
I wouldn't actually get money because they would just say that they'd owe me money. So I actually didn't have any money.
Oh, that must have been hard.
Yes.
So how did you manage then? Like, if you wanted to go out or if you wanted to do something?
If I would want to use money, they would have to approve of it.
Okay. It seems like you were dealing with a lot of stuff in your life, right? Like you seem to have had a lot of pressure going on at school. There was a lot of pressure going around the house.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that what happened is really weighing on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad you're agreeing with that. I've been working in the homicide unit since 2009, and I've never seen anybody that's reported it to the police the way you did, okay? And that tells me that you're somebody with a conscience and realized what you had done and decided that you needed to do the right thing, all right?
The control that Dave and Merrill had over Cameron's life, especially financial independence, is said to be another reason that led to the events of the investigation. But the family of Merrill has come forward, saying that they did that to protect Cameron, as he was not entirely capable of handling such responsibilities. However, there's no conclusive evidence for this, and it remains a theory at this point. And for this reason, the detective tries even harder to gather more information on the motive. Her style is entirely inclined towards speaking to him in a soft register, as if speaking to a child, so he shares more information.
And what caused you to just do this?
I don't know. It was like it was, I guess, the spur of the moment. Like it was just I don't know what made me do it. It was just like I don't even know why I did it. Even that I think back to it now, I don't even know why I chose to do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How did you do it?
It was involving one or two knives and a stick.
And a stick, okay. And where did you kill them?
In our kitchen.
In your kitchen? Okay. All right. And what was going on right before you killed them?
I was chopping melon.
Sorry?
I was chopping melon.
Melon?
Yeah.
Okay. And where were your parents in relation to you at that point?
My mom was doing something else in the kitchen.
Okay.
And my dad was somewhere else in the house.
Okay. And then what happened?
Do I have to talk about this? I don't want to talk about this.
Okay, well, why don't we talk about something else for a while, okay? I know that's upsetting you. Why don't we talk about how did they get to the outside?
I put them there.
You put them there, okay. And when did you put them there?
After they died.
Okay.
I didn't want, like, I didn't want, like, my mom's brothers or any friends to come and see them like that.
Okay. Well, that was good of you. Clearly you were concerned for them, for the family members not seeing them, eh? Okay. And how did you get them out to the back?
I had to, I dragged my mom in a tarp.
Okay.
And then I put my dad in a suitcase.
Okay.
And then pulled him out.
Okay. And how'd you get him in a suitcase?
Well, I sort of rolled him into it.
Okay. All right. Did you have to do anything to get him into the suitcase? Or?
Well, it wasn't like a perfect fit. Like, I didn't, like, make him, like, fit.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't, like...
Okay. All right. And how long did you remain in the house after the...
A week.
A week? Okay. And where were they for that 1 week?
Well, for a day, they were wherever they got killed.
Okay.
And then, after that, was spent taking them out to the backyard and then cleaning up a little bit.
Okay.
So it wasn't, blood all over the place.
Here is a man talking about murdering his parents, and there is no sight of emotion on his face. His tone is entirely flat, though this is common in people who are on the autism spectrum. In stressful moments, they can show hyperactivity, but this is also absent in Cameron. Here you can see that Cameron begins to stutter when he's confronted by a direct question about killing his parents. The interrogator here reinforces him positively, encouraging him to cooperate by pointing out the better side of his behavior. She says that he concealed the bodies of Dave and Merrill so that it didn't discomfort the other family members who may have seen it. As soon as Cameron realizes that he's not being seen in a bad light for his actions, he continues to cooperate.
When you said clean up, what room had to be cleaned up?
The kitchen.
The kitchen. Okay, is that the only room that had to be cleaned up? Okay.
Yeah.
And where's the knife?
I put the knife the two. I think it was two. I think it was 2 knives. In a plastic bag with the stick that had broken. So I put those in the plastic bag and I put it in the black box, which is in the garage.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you do then for that whole week then in the house?
I just stayed in my room.
Okay.
Because I I was mostly going to run away from Ottawa.
Okay.
I was hoping to go to the U.S., but since that didn't work out, I got stuck in Montreal.
Okay, gotcha.
And then that's when I called.
Okay. And how come you weren't able to get into the U.S.?
Well, you need some kind of not like a ticket, but like
a passport or.
Well, no, not that wasn't the problem. It's because to go there, to stay there, you need some kind of visa.
I see.
And I didn't have that, so I'd have to lie, and that just wouldn't work.
Right, okay.
Cameron first attacked Merrill with a wooden sword that he had made. He attacked her with so much force that the wooden sword broke. This alerted Dave, and he came running to save his wife. Cameron then proceeded to stab Dave in the back, which punctured his lungs. This proved to be fatal, and Dave died shortly after.
And what made you decide to call the police, to call 911?
It was, I didn't really have anything else to do, and I may as well, since I was feeling down.
For sure.
And I was tired, which made me feel more down.
Right, yeah.
And I called.
Right. And how did you feel after you made the call?
Well, I was crying for a long time.
For sure, yeah.
And then I felt better, but I still don't know if it's fixed, because we're discussing. I feel like we're still trying to figure out if I did it or not, and I don't understand. I thought confessing would mean that I would be, that would be it.
It was made clear in the trials that the reason for the 911 call was never guilt, but rather that he had nothing else left to do. This is a high point in the interrogation, and any other person would have shown obvious signs of anxiety by now. Usually it's seen that a person will fidget in their seats, look visibly uncomfortable, stutter in their speech, or sweat. Cameron, on the other hand, has no signs of relevant or irrelevant emotions here.
Stuff like this, I think everybody has to make their decision, what's right for them, and clearly you felt this was the right decision for you. But I always use the analogy of the snowball effect, right? You start this nice snowball at the top of a mountain, and it comes spiraling down the hill, and it's picking up debris, and at the end, by the time it gets down there, it's not the same thing anymore, right? So this is something that wouldn't have gone away. Eventually you would have had to dealt with it. Now I'm noticing a cut on your
that was trying to where
left hand.
Where I put my stuff, I was trying to get in, because it was like a rundown place, and I had to get in, so it got cut.
Oh, okay. Did you sustain any injuries as a result of what happened to your parents? Yeah. Okay. What? So I know you're cutting melons, and that was about at 11 o'clock on the Sunday morning.
Yeah.
What caused you to do that? Like, it was something said or done, or?
No, it was literally just a spur of the moment. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, took me 50 minutes of going back and forth about to do it and then not to do it.
Okay, all right. What was causing you to want to do it? Why is it you're thinking you wanted to do it?
I don't remember.
Okay. All right. And what were the plans that day?
The plans was to do some studying and then go to the restaurant for the party.
For the party, okay.
Cameron had been contemplating his decision whether to kill his parents or not for 50 minutes before the incident. But he said that everything took place in a spur of the moment.
All right. And your mom, you said she was in the kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And where was your dad?
He was somewhere else I don't know exactly.
Okay. Can you just explain to me how your dad, did it both happen in the kitchen? Okay. How does your dad end up in the kitchen?
Well, when I did my mom, he came running, and then I did him.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. And how long did it take?
What do you mean?
Like before your mom, like how long did you?
Well, my dad didn't take very long, but my mom took a long time.
Okay.
And it was really hard because she was in pain, and I wanted it to stop, and I couldn't make it stop. And I felt so bad because she was in pain, and I wanted her not to be in pain, but I couldn't stop it. And it went for the whole night.
And what?
It took the whole night for her to die.
And how do you know that it took the whole night?
I don't know exactly, but I mean, I went to my room, and she was still in pain. I could hear, but then in the morning, it was done.
Okay. And can I ask a question? Why is it then, after, when you realized she was in pain, why didn't you call 911?
Well, I knew it was too late.
Okay. And what do you mean by it was too late?
The wounds were too bad.
Okay. Okay. And so what about your dad? How soon after did you kill your dad?
What do you mean how soon after?
Well, after your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came running, and then
He came running.
that's when it happened.
Okay, and what did he say when he came in?
Well, he was scared for her.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and then it was quicker with him.
Okay. Now, you talked about a stick.
Yeah.
Who did you use the stick on?
I think it was both.
On both? And what part of the bodies did you hit them with?
I think it was the head.
The head? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
The stick broke.
The stick broke on who?
I don't remember exactly.
Okay. All right. And there were 2 knives involved?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and where did you get the knives?
The kitchen.
In the kitchen?
The only time Cameron seems to express himself is when he talks about his mother taking all night to die. But this becomes less believable as his expressions almost immediately change within a few seconds. He stopped crying the moment the next question was asked, and the signs that he was having a breakdown almost instantly disappeared.
I am going to just leave the room. I'm just going to go and check with my partner to see if I've forgotten anything. Is there anything else that you want to tell me?
I don't know.
The interrogator has been so successful in making the environment safe for Cameron that he becomes uncomfortable when she tries to leave the room. This reaction also elicits the motor behaviors that are common in people with autism, like covering themselves protectively with a comforting object. It shows anxiety over a change in the environment. This kind of reaction should have been present throughout the interview, given the circumstances that Cameron was in. But he manages to stay somewhat composed.
And what was your mom doing?
She was like doing something, some kind of herb thing. I don't know what it was. It was just she was grinding herbs or something.
Okay. And how was that morning? This was around 11 o'clock. So what was going on that morning in the house?
I don't know. I mean, like, what was...
Did you have an argument with your parents, or...?
Well, I mean, the whole upstanding, or not upstanding, the whole like disagreement about school and work and all that was just hanging over me. And I mean, I guess, we've had arguments before.
Okay.
And heated, yelling ones, and I guess just at that time when the cloud broke, I was chopping a melon.
Okay. And what were you arguing about that day? Like while you were chopping the melon?
I don't know if I was arguing. At that time, I was not arguing.
Okay. All right.
No.
Okay.
But maybe like a day or two before, we had been arguing.
Okay. And
about those issues.
Okay. And anything in particular? So you're talking about school, about
the work issue.
And what was your mom like when she argued with you about it?
Well, I didn't have a say.
Cameron's body language in no way matches the intensity of the crimes he is confessing to. Earlier, he had started crying when he was speaking about how long his mother took to die. And here, he can be seen yawning. It should also be pointed out that here he says he knows they were not fighting before the crimes, while earlier he had said that he did not remember. This indicates that he may be intentionally withholding information or lying about not remembering. Doing so would allow him to plead guilty to second-degree murder instead of first-degree, which has significantly reduced sentence time.
And where did you stab her on her?
In the back.
In the back, okay. And how many times?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay. And how did she react when she was stabbed the first time?
Actually, wait. I didn't stab her first. I used a stick first.
You used the stick? Okay.
Yeah.
And where did you get the stick?
I made it.
Oh, okay. When did you make it?
A while back.
Okay. And when you say made it, how do you make it?
I carved it.
Oh, cool. Okay. And for what purpose?
Just to do.
Okay.
I had a lot of time on my hands in the summer.
Okay. And what were you going to use that stick for?
I don't know. There was no plan when I made it.
Okay. Okay. And where were you keeping that stick?
In the garage.
In the garage, okay. So how does it end up being in the kitchen that day?
I don't know. I was planning. During those 15 minutes of going back and forth, one of those times I thought of using the stick.
Okay, on
my mom.
Okay, to do what?
I don't know.
Okay.
Overall, the way Cameron speaks about the events, it does look like he did this because of the excessive control he felt from his parents. He also mentions how he had no say when he got into a fight with his parents. His already lagging communication, with fewer opportunities to present his inner feelings and thoughts, never allowed some conflicts to be resolved, and the results were extreme violence.
What were you thinking when you were doing this to them?
No, like when I was moving them?
No, when you were actually stabbing them and hitting them.
I don't remember exactly what I was thinking, but I don't think I was thinking anything. Maybe it was just adrenaline or something.
Okay.
Or just
But were you
scared me.
feeling angry? Were you feeling...
I don't think I was feeling angry. Maybe, no, actually, I don't think I was feeling actually any anger.
Yeah. Okay.
Which sounds actually really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and I think that's what I was saying, that it took me 15 minutes of going back and forth of thinking to do it and then not thinking I shouldn't do it, and then I finally did it, but it was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't out of anger, I don't think.
So what was the purpose then?
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It was I think it's not that I wasn't doing it for anger, but at the moment when I did it, I wasn't feeling really angry.
Okay.
Maybe it was just the fact that it took me maybe at the beginning I was angry, but then doing the 50 minutes of about to do it and then not doing it, and then when I say not doing it, I mean chickening out.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. No, I understand that. Yeah.
Cameron easily confessed to the murder of his parents. When he went to trial, he tried to plead guilty to a lesser charge of manslaughter instead of murders. But that appeal was rejected. We should also take a moment here to appreciate the techniques of the investigator. Cameron fully cooperated because of the atmosphere she had created during the questioning. The family of Dave and Merrill Rogers had seen the worst of nightmares, but the small consolation was that at least Cameron was behind bars. Cameron also tried to charge his father Dave with assault in the first trial. This is believed to be a tactical move to get a reduced sentence. However, he withdrew this allegation in the second trial. The call made by Merrill's brother and the visit by the church folks proved to be vital in proving that Cameron was in fact present in the house at the time and after the murders took place. He was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 20 years in prison without parole in December 2018. The family of Dave and Merrill Rogers fears for the day when Cameron may be released.
I fear for the day he is released. I do. A lot of our extended family does. There were victim impact statements from family on the West Coast, family in the southern US. They're all very scared for us because realistically, one day he will be released.